Hello. I'm here.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello. I'm
Hi there.
Jack. I am running a D&D game perfectly prepared. Every note's written, scribbled in pen.
Huge.
2 weeks. Can do it. Write that shit down. Anyway, hi, how's everyone doing? I'm doing pretty good myself, thank you. But how's everybody else here doing? Starting off with Zaltu, how are you doing?
I'm alive.
Okay, well now you're not, because now you're Castor.
Oh shit.
Zaltu has died.
Could just die.
Yeah. Zaltu no longer exists, he's been replaced by Castor. I'm sure this will only do good things in his life.
Well, you know.
It can't hurt.
Can't hurt. Castor's pretty successful.
Moving on. Hey, Chef, how are you doing, man?
I finally got good sleep, so there's that.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you actually died and are now Clayton Draze, the right hand of the gunslinger.
Oh, fuck. It's
Yeah.
happening!
The spirit of Clayton possesses you, and then he has 2 other spirits that pop up next to him.
That also possessed me. It never fucking ends.
Moving on. Gerald, how are you doing, man?
There is no longer Gerald. There is only Hellspawn.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Well, would hell spawn
sorry.
like a juice box, or?
Little sick. Just got a cold to go over.
Oh, man.
Lucius here.
I mean, yeah, you're, it's now actually Lucius. You went to hell, turned into a hellspawn, now you're Lucius now. Congratulations.
That's what COVID does.
Yeah. Don't let it spread. You'll give me a good charisma stat. Anyway.
That's the last thing he needs.
Moving on. Spooky, how are you doing, man?
Some of the worst times of my life, and I'm more than ready to kill myself for this game.
It's okay, you don't have to, because a truck ran you over. Now Simon's taking your place.
Thank
Was it
God.
Isekai truck?
Yeah, you
do
went
better
to
with
another world. But it's like the same world, just like
It's just
slightly
a really
shittier.
big caravan. It's just a super tall wagon.
It's like, it's the Amish in town? Punk!
Runs him over at like 2 miles an hour.
It's Amish in town. When are they ever? I believe that's kind of a biz.
No, that's unfair. I'm sorry if we have any Amish viewers in the chat tonight.
Yeah, any Amish are at home. I just want to apologize.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, they finally left my town. Sales weren't good for them. Nobody would buy their chairs and wagons.
No, there aren't really many Amish people in Canada. Because it's too fucking cold to live without central heating.
There ain't no Amish here, eh?
There ain't no Amish here.
I like how you said not very many. That implies
Yeah,
there
like,
are, in
nobody
fact,
would.
Amish there.
I think there are Amish people way out west where it's not freezing.
True.
All
that would
Did
be,
you
that would
say
make more
west?
sense.
Back on track. Here we go.
Back on track. All right. So now the entire world.
Plains of Alberta.
Is West Canada warmer than the rest of Canada?
Significantly.
Why?
Why not?
Because it doesn't have the Gulf Stream.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know geography.
Moving on.
Why is the west of America
Yeah,
hotter
I was
than the
never good
east
at
of
geometry,
America?
so I'm gonna have to pass that
Things
information.
objectively worse.
English
Like,
lit was
it's
not my
just-
major.
It's just that
Essentially,
part of
water
the
makes it
world.
cold.
That's
Okay.
weird.
That's fair.
it's not.
That's weird.
No, it's fine. It's normal.
Have they ever considered bringing that to the rest of Canada?
So it doesn't matter about it's fine. It doesn't need to.
It's
Because
on
the world.
the oil sands, and apparently we voted against it.
It's okay though, because the world has ended, exploded in a hellfire torrent. Billions of years in the future, a new world has formed, and that's the one we're currently in. Hi, everybody. It's the Western Trail.
I didn't.
That's
And
the
then a giant
canonical
mummy.
reason.
my president.
And the Western Trail was obliterated.
Ah, shit. All right. Well, see you guys all later. Have fun.
Isn't that
Anyway.
as much as your plan, though?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, now we can play the game, everyone.
Now we can
Just
play the
leaves
game.
the call. You know what? You guys can run it yourselves. I'm done.
Last we left our fair travelers. Maybe unfair travelers. Something like that. They had found themselves in a plane, and then in a tower on legs, and then having cookies and tea.
And then in each other. Oh well.
Only if you let it go that far. Who wants to kind of like
Only when we
recap
fuck
what
up the
happens
teleportation that
exactly?
bad.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, it's slightly coming back to me now.
Are you good? Are you good to?
I think it needs to slightly come back to me more in the form of somebody else needs to tell me what happened.
Last we saw our heroes, heroes is being a very loose term. We had to make a slight pit stop in the town of Dunesreach because we learned that our inability to fly was a huge damper on our ability to talk to this guy. And when we showed up, there were the Orville and Wilbur Wright that had made the world's first plane and crashed it into a very religious town's church, which is, and by all means, a bad call. But through some trickery and very charismatic, deceptive duo, we were able to inform the town of this people that the plane was actually a machination of Satan himself and should be removed from the town, out of eyesight.
Wait, you mean that it wasn't actually?
And all these metal pieces that could be used to repair it also needed to be taken out of eyesight and earshot, and no one should check up on what we're doing. So we
That was
fixed
my
the plane.
favorite part.
And during this time, Simon was learning how to actually build and work on this plane a little bit through what he could understand.
Very surface level.
Yeah, not being an aerospace engineer. But and I believe Castor had a meeting with a very interesting individual.
It was a birdie.
Is a bird boy.
What's the bird equivalent of a furry?
An area.
Feathery?
It's a
Area.
feathery.
I think.
I should call them people because I see more than that. But,
I don't see through that lens.
I call them target practice.
Yeah.
That's the
Speaking
lens
of
I
target
look through.
practice, apparently they there's some kind of contract on Clayton for the people that Zaltu works for, or Castor works for, which was very odd for me because I was not under the impression Castor worked for people.
It's a very weird situation he's in
Yeah.
personally.
Either way,
In real life, Zaltu, that is.
I just want to point that out.
it
real quick.
allowed us to. Did you say you want to make a point real quick?
No, I wanted to point that I put it in chat. Featheries was right.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! All right, good
Big
to know.
brain.
Oh,
Big
I also
brain.
was right when I said avian.
I thought of the thing that covered
You
their
guys
body. and
fucking look
used
up
that.
this vocabulary, but not actual words.
Nah.
Anyway,
Sorry, are you saying something?
we then flew in the death trap / plane. We headed over towards Vargan Drost is his name, I believe. Hold on, I have his notes here somewhere. Volgan Drost.
Yeah.
We headed over to his place. A bunch of gargoyles tried to attack us. Castor did that thing he does where he gets himself out of the fight as quickly as possible by jumping through a window out of a plane.
He does this a lot.
It's a character flaw, I think.
The rest of us stuck here and killed all the other gargoyles, only to have the plane about to crash. Luckily, our bard knows how to fly, and I know how to teleport. So we just all shot into their building as our two halfling inventors made an emergency landing on the stair steps of Homeboy's apartment. And then I believe last we checked off, everyone was in some kind of arcane shackles, just as a precaution so that we don't pop off on this dude. And cookies and tea were being brought out?
Yeah, unseen servants have been bringing trays of cookies and tea. They have not been told to stop, so they just keep doing it.
And
Sick.
Clayton is appreciative, who has not stopped eating.
It's kind of hard because you still have the gun in one hand and you're shackled, so you're just kind of like, it's very awkward, but you're managing to pull it off.
Clayton would actually... hold on, I'll try something. Can I... In these shackles, can I send the gun back into its extra dimensional...
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so it just...
Yeah.
And then it sends a
They're
rusted
not-
weapon of the nine hells into hellfire and a separate dimension so that I may eat more cookies.
Oh yeah, I should. That's not the right music. I should point out that these handcuffs are not like stopping you from casting stuff like magic. It's not magic and dampening handcuffs by any means. You can surmise that they're more of a formality than anything else. It's like it's like a open invitation to not try and find out.
Do they actually restrict our movement, or are
Oh
they
yeah,
just
they're
like a
like
visual representation?
you are definitely handcuffed. It's definitely a physical restriction. But as far as like, Simon specifically, you don't feel like anything wrong with your magic by any means. You feel like you could still cast spells if you really wanted to. However, this fairly young man, from what you've been told, with darkened skin, purplish robes with arcane glyphs all over them, a book on a satchel that seems to be bigger than his torso. Slinks to his side, and he has a white cane, white gnarled cane that seems to be carved from some ancient tree to his side. He's currently just enjoying, some nice tea and some cookies, wiping some crumbs away from his face, and goes, it feels nice to have a nice meal with, or like a nice... Jesus Christ.
What the fuck? I think you forgot to turn off your boombox there, my friend.
Sorry, we do this stuff at the same time every day, and my mom decided now she wants to come in blasting music.
So one of the unseen servants is immediately destroyed. No. But he says, it's nice they have company. I don't get that very much.
I wonder why.
I can see why, yeah, that tracks. That's a fair statement.
So,
is Mr. Drast? How do I go about formalities and referentialisms here?
Oh please, call me Archmage Drast.
Oh well, going with the easy way. Archmage Drast.
I'm joking with you. Just call me Volgan. I don't mind. It's quite all right.
I appreciate your sense of humor. We come from Riverdale. We spoke with Jext, and he told us that we should confer with you to discuss a shocking development that has occurred that is causing the loss of a lot of lives and the confusion.
You're going to have to be more specific. There's a lot of things that cause a lot of mass harm.
Simon, would you care to show him the beetle?
He just kind of like looks around and like puts down his tea somewhere, like just on the floor, just kind of
like
sets it down for a second.
When you before you didn't see any chairs, but after he invited you to sit down at the end of last session, there were suddenly chairs behind you. In fact,
I cast Mage Hand.
Yeah, I remember I perched on the chair.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cast
you
Mage
did perch
Hand
on the chair.
Hold,
so when you go,
tea for him.
no, when you go to set the tea down, there's suddenly a table where you can set it down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, he'll just set it there.
Something you've also noticed is that all the rubble from the broken golems that you smashed has seemingly just vanished, and the hole through the window has also seems to have repaired itself.
Gotta get me one of these.
I'm gonna have to re-break that window if I want to leave.
I think we can use the front door now, actually, but continue.
No. He's got a point.
Let the man speak.
Smashing things,
I will
yes.
fumble through my black jeans and then produce the beetle again as it like kind of twitches.
Again, it's kind of hard because the handcuffs, but you are able to manage to shimmy it out of your pocket. And you present it to him, and he says, "Ah, yes, that's loss of life. Yes, I'm familiar."
That
All
one.
right. Well, then you are already a step ahead of us, and that you know a little more about what we're dealing with. Because when this showed up in front of me, my first reaction was, "What the fuck is that?"
Well, it's not something that seems to happen outside of the region. In fact, I came to this country in order to learn more about the crystals themselves. Drive of curiosity. However, something that I should note is that they don't do the things that you're referring to more to the east. It seems to be more of a localized situation.
Right. regardless, I've seen one of these tear a man in half. Like it was walking.
Well, some of them do animate small beasts and whatnot. Usually, the smaller they are, the more docile.
I'm talking. One of them was a crystal owl bear, and the other one was easily larger than a cart.
Larger than a
Like
cart.
car? Oh, car.
Larger than a cart.
What's a claw?
A caw is what birds do.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Larger than a
know
car
all
is
about
where
that
I come
now.
from.
Yep.
What did you say?
No, you didn't say it. That was Will. That was,
Okay.
that was Jack saying something.
Is anyone else hearing Jack be really, really underwater, or is that just me?
Am I doing
Just
something
you?
I
wrong?
think
No,
it's
he-
just you.
I think it might just be you because he's fine. for
Because
me.
I can hear everyone else fine. I'm trying.
Who knows? It might be a
Haha,
weird
we tricked him
connection
into
problem.
leaving, finally.
Great, now that he's gone.
Am I good now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Oh, okay, cool. So it is, well, that does line up with what I've learned. Like I said, they seem to, grow more in animosity as they, the bigger shards are known. However, I don't think I've heard of one being as big as a cart. Usually
Well,
these crystals are broken down as they leave the mines, so I don't...
Right.
Well, funny you should say that, because as we heard this knowledge, a few of our friends, I guess, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, produced
Colleagues more than anything else.
a cart that they had robbed straight from the mine.
That they had repossessed.
I'm sure the man doesn't care about the laws of this land.
Do you think I have a permit for driving this thing around the country?
Well,
Do you-
technically, it counts
do
as a
you
dog
need one?
pile.
We got him.
There
He
isn't
admitted
exactly-
he doesn't have a permit.
Yeah, there isn't exactly a law for this type of thing. It doesn't happen very often.
I believe it
Right,
counts as a
not,
domicile.
not every day
same
you
as-
see a giant mechanical island crab.
Look at that mobile home.
It counts the same as an RV, I would think.
An RV? What's that?
It's an absolutely terrible skin condition one can accrue if you spend too long out in the desert. Anyway, point of order. This stuff is dangerous. It's wrong. The magic that's in it, it's not like anything else that I've dealt with.
Been exposed to.
Been exposed to. Thank you, Simon. You're slightly better at the words.
He says, stuttering on his sentence.
Yeah.
The
I
fact
do
that
enjoy
you have
words.
noticed the strangeness about these crystals means that you are a bit more adept with magical means than most. To
I
an
dabble.
untrained eye, or even
I
someone
dab.
just simply not looking. Simply not looking. The crystals seem no more than a reservoir of magic, a form of crystallized weave, the stuff of raw magic. However,
Is it even the weave?
Well,
I don't
it
know why I'm
definitely.
British again.
Should we call her
It
out? remove her
definitely,
weave?
from what my research and what other research has told me, it definitely does draw magic from the weave. However, I do not believe the crystal itself is necessarily made from it.
All right. Side note question. Say perhaps in a completely impossible just thought experiment situation, a being had taken some of this magic into their own body and being. What would that look like?
Well, that's a good question. It's not something I necessarily thought of. You see, the
Mhm,
magic is
mhm. Him
usually
neither.
channeled through the crystal in what takes some training to do. However, I suppose you could absorb the essence of it itself, but after learning what I have, I'd say that's kind of like putting a disease within your body and just kind of letting it sit there.
What have you learned that makes this sound disease worthy? Again, with no like sense of urgency or depend. No one has eaten these things.
These crystals, they have a sentience about them.
Mm-hmm.
It's very mild in the smaller ones, like a beetle like that would produce no more than the bug it exhibits. But something of considerable size might have something more of a will of its own, in a way.
So let's say that an entity or being had the capability of siphoning one's soul or parts of one's soul in order to continue their own existence and preservation of life. Now,
Well,
let's say
I
a
would
large animal the size of a cart made of these crystals was siphoned and put into said being.
Well, I'd be worried that they weren't the person they were just a moment ago. A shift of consciousness, a takeover, if you will. These things are very parasitic in nature. From what I understand, if they aren't made by the weave themselves, a mere crystallization, then I'd assume that the power within it would just be more of it. Absorbing enough of it, the person absorbing it might find themselves not who they were. A change. They might become what the thing they ate was.
But it would be possible to control that power.
I suppose if you had a stronger will than it.
Duly noted.
There
Sorry, you go
are
ahead.
tales,
I haven't.
or well, singular tale that I've heard of something of similar sort, I suppose. It's honestly what I was on my way to investigate myself. You see, these libraries are very ancient. They hold tales from extremely long ago. In fact, I would even say that this very library holds tales from other places, not of this world. It's very strange. But that is a topic for a different time. One such tale in this tower of a notable author that has decided to omit himself from the book itself has actually described dealing with the natives of this land when they first encountered it. You see, people have a tendency to see God in many different things.
The mirror.
Some would, yes.
That was a good one, Simon. Thank you. I think we all needed that bit of levity.
Well, that's too, yes. But in earlier times, some would see the gods in trees, in nature, in the animals that occupy the forest, the landscapes itself, even. But this particular tale tells of a god that came from the sky itself. Supposedly, this god would grant people power, a sort of way of harnessing magic. It may even have been the origins of some of the more ancient magics of the world.
I'm getting the
Mayhaps
vague
not.
sensation that this speech was not prepared, Mr. Archmage.
Well,
He
I
didn't
wasn't
know we were
expecting
coming.
company.
The first time we
from what
almost
I
died, he
understand-
probably wrote us off.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah, you tried to climb the tower, then got absolutely murked. I thought you were gonna be gone. I didn't expect you to ring the doorbell again, as they say.
We have a tendency.
You should
that.
think of installing a doorbell.
Speaking of which, yes.
I actually couldn't find your doorbell. It was too high up. I had to go use the back door, it seemed.
No, you used the roof window. It points up at it.
Oh,
Weird how that works.
not the
Tomato,
back door.
tomato.
I thought that was the secondary entrance, honestly.
Here in America, back door, roof window are synonyms. I can understand the culture shock.
When he points up, everybody does not compelled, but everybody just kind of take a glance up there. And when you look down, the young man before you, that couldn't have been more than 19 years old, suddenly looks to be in his 80s. Old, wrinkly.
Wow, you're
skin.
ugly as shit.
Castor, that is so rude of you to say
That is
about.
very rude. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Wow,
sorry.
you're ugly.
He's not exactly housebroken yet.
Yes. Well, back to the matter at hand. The reason why this tale piques my interest is because it does describe something of a similar nature. The god it depicts in the tale that fell from the sky, the fragment of rock it was inside, resembled... The tale constantly calls it a bit of a seed of sorts. A crystal seed. Which, for obvious reasons, piqued my interest.
Was
when-
it
you
a
a
crystal or the
botanist?
seed?
I don't know, that's just what the tale called it. Poetic literature, to be honest, the tale I'd read before all these events, I always just assumed it was a cautionary tale, a tale of hubris. You see, the seed would grant power to the locals in order to cultivate the lands. What was once a barren landscape was basically overnight turned into vast fields of grain and various crop. Cattle and various livestock would be magically sustained. It was essentially just this crystal seed would grant the power to these locals in order to live better lives. However, the seed didn't give freely. It required something, sacrifice, as I'm sure you've heard with various tales of gods.
Mm-hmm.
They oftentimes require these things, I suppose. But in this tale particularly, crop, livestock, the things around the land would be offered up in service or in tribute, and thus more power was granted to the villagers. Eventually, though, and far before the locals had seemed to come to their senses about it, they'd end up offering everything that they had made. They had nothing left to give, and therefore no power to make more. This thing decided it wanted anything it could get, so they started offering themselves. And
You'd think they would learn their lesson.
you would think.
People don't
That is
learn
why
when
I
they're
thought
hungry.
it was a. That's why I thought it was a cautionary tale. It's just simply a tale to why you shouldn't, why you should practice hubris, or sorry, why you shouldn't
Why you
practice
practice hubris?
Yeah,
Hmm.
no,
English is not his first language. Cut on some slack. Castor.
one of those.
English
Also, the
isn't my
game
first
master
language,
is very bad at speaking in general.
And you constantly step in your own mouth, Castor. like that's a,
Yes, but I do it on purpose.
exactly to cut him a little bit of a break here.
So from with that in mind, they ended up giving their own kin to the thing, which it absorbed and grant even more power. By the end of the tale, the seed had been described to grow into a lush tree, a giant crystal spire of branches. By the time that the village had, again, nothing left to give, all that remains were the elders. And the tree was too powerful for them to stop, so it would just take them instead if they didn't do something. Then comes our protagonist, the hero of the story, I suppose. The author, I'm given to take, had come in and offered them aid as well. But this time without much of a sacrifice. With the power that was granted by this crystal seed to the village elders and the power of whoever wrote the book itself, they were able to seal the tree in a prison deep below the earth. Some sort of maze. Whatever it is, it was designed, or so they say, to keep intruders out lest they wake up this thing and feed it more. Like I said, the tale of hubris, but seeing this now, I'm inclined to believe that there's some truth in the story. It wasn't just a tale written by some insert author.
Well, a lot of myths are based in truth, Mr. Drast.
So they say, and so I've learned. But that is what I'm here to investigate. If these things are coming to life, then, well, it probably has something to do with this tale in some way.
I can agree. Would you mind if we tagged along with you? It seems like we might have a lot to share, learn, and help each other with. I mean,
Overlapping goals.
yeah, that's what it is.
He kind of like lets out a long like sigh that seems to show his age. I suppose I don't think I can get rid of you if I'm being honest.
Now I'm essentially just a wily son of a bitch, but we promise not to make too big of a mess, you know. Me and Simon here could probably use your library, just go over some books and such. Have you had any samples of the animated crystal to work with?
Some, but for obvious reasons, I haven't been able to keep my hands on them.
Right.
If I have too big of a sample, which I think I would need for some research, though I'm not entirely sure how much that would prove fruitful, it would be too dangerous to properly study.
We are capable of the word field operations.
Right,
If
sample
you-
collections.
Sample collections in what would the environmental testing.
Right.
If you need something, if a theory requires verification.
Experimentation. Clayton shouts the only academic word he knows.
It's not
Scientific
Not wrong.
method.
Yep, exactly. Hypothesis. That's the thing we're doing here, right? That
That's the
thing.
one I've said. Yes.
All right.
Well,
All right.
you were sent by Juxteris. I suppose it's fine.
A mutual scratching of backs.
Yeah, at that
pauses
moment,
first.
you probably like raise your hands a little bit when you say that. And you notice that you're no longer handcuffed. Just
Hey,
don't ruin the furniture too much.
I promise, because I'm gonna be honest, I barely know where your furniture is.
It is
It's
what I
kind
just
of
need-
whatever
exactly.
you need it to be.
I
Yeah.
doubt I can stub my toe on it or make too big of a mess.
When you all look down to notice that your handcuffs are gone, and you look back up, you've noticed that he's kind of disappeared in his robes. And the robes then begin to move, and eventually he's able to move his face out, and you notice what appears to be like a 13-year-old boy starts walking around over to you. It's like,
Are
well,
you like a
I
pedophile or
suppose.
something?
No, I think you might be. I think what
No,
we might
I'm
be dealing with
cursed.
is one of those folks who's out of time.
Shazam.
Kind of. I wanted
That's
immortality. It turns out that gods have a very keen joke to play on people like me.
Devils as well.
I suppose. I wouldn't really know. I kind of stayed away from those ones.
Yeah, trust me.
Follow me. I'll give you the tour of the tower. I think its facilities might be useful if you actually knew what everything did.
All right, that sounds like a great way
First
to
step.
continue moving on.
So in his more younger, smaller, childlike body, he starts dragging the giant book on a satchel behind him, and you kind of notice he's struggling a little bit.
I
He's
use
able
Mage
to-
Hand to lift it up.
It's a very big book.
I will
It's
lift it up.
absolutely big, heavier than a mage hand can carry.
Damn it.
I
Yeah,
will pick
I
it up.
try though. Like the Mage Hand is just like.
I would appreciate it if you didn't touch my book. You know, mages,
Technically, I didn't.
spell books.
Do you need? Should we put like wheels on it? I don't.
Do you need like a
It
suitcase?
is fine. It is fine. I got it. And he starts dragging it more.
Just
He's
starts
like
pushing it.
also
Does
like
anybody have
trying to
enhanced
hold the
ability?
cane as
Can
well.
we make him stronger?
No, I'm quite
Can't
used
you
to
just
this. It is
cast Fly
fine.
on him? Forgot.
Listen, it's fine. I can do this. He starts dragging.
Fly is based
I
on your
usually just
carry weight
teleport
capsule.
when this happens. It's probably. Listen, all of you, just look away for a moment. Maybe it will change back.
Oh God! All right, he's pea shot.
If you guys all agree and look away,
Yeah.
Sure.
you like look away for a moment. I think Castor does like the quick step thing where you like looks and then looks immediately back. But when you do, he does appear to be more like around the age of 16, maybe. It's like
God,
that's as
he's
much
younger.
better.
Fuck up. No.
No, he was 13 before, so he's like
Okay.
he's older. He's actually able to hold the book up. He's still like a little bit struggling. He's like,
How the fuck would a 13-year-old not be able to hold a book?
He's a
Even a
13
very, even a very
13-year-old
big
wizard.
book.
He's a
It's a
13-year-old
very-
wizard.
it is a
He's got
huge
no
book.
hustle.
Yeah, it's a very big book. It's like basically like a satchel, like double the size of a normal satchel.
What kind of 13-year-old would not be able to carry a satchel?
This
That's-
weak ass bitch over here.
This
Simon will
archmage that
flash
can
his-
teleport you into a volcano. Keep talking.
Simon
Look,
will
if he was
flash-
like 3, maybe, but
I mean, we're worried about his motor skills in that case.
Simon flashes his book of strength thing, and he's just like, "Ah, you should have found this."
It'll recharge in a century. He's immortal. It's fine. Leave it here. Fair is fair.
Yeah,
Trade
you
is
know
trade.
that give a book, take a book thing? Is this apply? I can't use this
Well-
ever.
I suppose I would be interested, but this library is complete for a reason. I'd like to keep it that way. Is there something else you want instead?
I mean, can I read here?
I suppose you're here already.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a look at it. I know I said I dabble before, but I am mildly magically inclined and can understand a little bit of what's going into this. I assume me and Simon probably got the reading aspect down.
Sure, whatever you say, Cowboy. Let us continue the tour.
That's
He
better
talks
than
of
most call
me.
me.
And then just like the, oh, right.
Yeah,
Uh,
as he looks to you in his poncho and like a cowboy hat and gun. He's just like, really?
I have 2 out of those 3, okay?
God damn.
He
Do you have any
leads you.
books on? Do you have any books on theology?
I'm absolutely sure there's some books on theology here.
Yeah.
Uh,
He looks into
cool.
stories of gods and stuff too. So
Yeah,
that tracks.
there would absolutely be theology books here. Yeah. This library seems fair. Honestly, the tower seems almost bigger on the inside than the outside. It
Fucking-
isn't exactly, but it
Clayton
is a
slapped
pretty vast library.
Clayton slaps himself in the forehead and he's like, "Are Orville and Wilbur all right? Are they still just hanging on the outside of this fucking thing?"
They probably landed in a nearby town. I say landed.
No, they
heavily air
crashed.
quoted.
They crashed at the stairs to the tower.
Oh, did they?
Yes, I'm sure
Labs are
they're
iron.
fine. I guess.
All right.
So
We can
he.
climb down.
Yeah, he leads you around the library. The library seems fairly fast, and there are a lot of books, mostly haphazardly placed, as if only one person knows the organization method behind it.
Can I try and
As if.
understand his organization method?
There's no library use skill in this game. I forgot. That's Call of
There's
Cthulhu.
history.
There is history.
Investigation.
I guess investigation would also work if you would like.
Roll an investigation. But you
You're
continue
gonna have to roll
doing your
high. Like you're trying to understand another wizard's organization method.
As a
actually,
wizard who reads wizard's books for
do,
fun,
do you have the skill investigation?
I do.
All right,
I
can
don't.
I? Oh, you
But I
don't?
have a 5 in it because I'm a smart boy.
Well, because I was
You
going
just
to
have
give you advantage.
proficiency.
I do have a higher.
a lot of intelligence.
thing, but you do have proficiency.
I have
Simon is
proficiency.
very smart.
All right, I'm gonna use my instead to forego and be offering Simon advantage instead.
All right, so you're like both looking around at the library trying to make sense of anything. And Volgan is just like, well, it's very simple. Over there is this section. Over there is that section. It's like it's not making any sense at
Yeah.
all.
Over there
Uh,
is specifically on Tuesdays where I keep my books about lobsters and lobster reproduction, but on Wednesday I have to separate them now.
Those are books about theology. Everything except for this specific gods, I don't like him, so I put it over there in that section with other gods I don't like.
And
You
you,
notice
should
that
know
the
that the
entire
other gods
section-
I don't like specifically start with either J, S, or Now that's a hard one.
I'm gonna keep a
you
mental
have-
note on the god that he doesn't like.
I was just about to explain it. You notice that the section he was pointing to originally is very sparse. The section on gods he doesn't like is extremely vast.
It makes
Figures.
sense.
Flat
You get
fucking
powered by being rad. It's not like
scientists.
But
Thinking they're
with your
hot shit.
20 investigation, you're able to kind of get a general idea that this organization method is more based on an emotion than it is on any type of logical sense. So the more you understand this man, the better understanding you'll have of his library. But being as you just met him, it's going to take some time. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Well, when you've been cursed by the gods, you tend to have some pent-up rage.
That's fair.
Over there is the magical teleportation circle. I use it for transports when I need it. It's much easier to...
symbol in there.
Yeah, start scribbling them down. He starts leading you all around, kind of giving you a good idea about the history of the tower, and he goes, the tower itself is fairly old, actually. I'm not as much as I'd love to claim that I built it, it actually seemingly goes back thousands of years.
Is this Zark's tower?
I don't know. Who the fuck is Zark?
Or whatever. There's an item in D&D called like a portable tower or something.
No, it's
Jesus.
not. It's definitely not that. It's not like a
Fortnite.
mad. Yes.
Is this Fortnite? Hold
Clayton just like level with me, Logan. Did you steal this? Did you steal this tower?
Oh, absolutely.
My man. All right.
The tower has passed ownership from Archmage to Archmage. Hell, even a bard owned it at one time, apparently. You can tell by the books they wrote.
He looks to Lucius with like a smile on his face, like, "Hey, could be yours." We're in the business of looking for a bar.
It changes hands, usually based on master and pupil apprenticeships, stuff like that. I stole it, obviously. I didn't want its use to. I didn't want it to fall into Russia's hands. It was not really a good time for them at the time. They were going to use it for war stuff. Didn't like that idea.
Do you think it's gotten any better?
I do not think it belongs to any one country, if I'm being honest. I know it's a bit hypocritical saying that I should own it myself, but I mean, somebody's got to run the place. Can't just leave it lying around. For right now, I use it for my study. I go around traveling the world, trying to understand as much about it as possible. Throughout the tour, as you've noticed, like, you, like, look around for a bit, look back at him, he's, like, an old man again, it's like, well, and he's, like, using the cane to, like, walk around.
Someone,
frailly.
we gotta get him to a good age, and we gotta, like, designate blinking times.
Yeah, I'd have Molotov, just keeping eyes on him.
Oh yes, what a good bird. Oh my. Oh no. Where did you get this bird?
He speaks in Russian, and he's like, "Isn't it good to have like something from home, you know?"
Yeah, well, this thing is more from the elemental planes of fire. Well, no,
Yeah,
sorry,
but
9
the
hills.
looks.
I suppose.
9 hills. And Clayton turns to the bird, and in Infernal, he's just like, "Ah, what's up? How are things?"
It picks at its feathers.
I will consume your soul.
Only I can hear that though.
It understands Infernal, but it does not. It doesn't have a speaking voice. So
Yeah, all I can
only
do is
summon.
hear.
Yeah.
Hey, you might want to back up, actually.
Oh, you don't like me?
This
No, that
one's-
tracks.
Wait.
About 9 out of 10 people I've met that speak Infernal did not like me.
Yeah, it's like
Have
this
you met
one's soul is
people that
claimed.
speak Infernal?
Yeah,
That's already rather impressive.
Listen, when you're in the line of business that I am, you run into quite a few.
I mean, at least Lucius likes you.
Yeah,
that's the 10th
he's
one.
the 10th, yeah.
Wait, isn't he Infernal though, not Abyssal? Oh
Yeah.
no, wait, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
It's
Yes.
almost
No,
like
no.
that's
If
what
it's
I fucking
Abyssal, you
said.
have some. If you're
Very
running into
good.
people that speak Abyssal on the by, you got some weird company, man. Those guys don't even got anything to return other than death.
They don't
So
make contracts that lot.
the tower itself is composed of many floors. Most of it seems to be a library, but there are like several places for stuff like storage, arcane locks and whatnot. Kind of guard some vault-looking places. There's even places for scientific study and magical study, like labs of the arcane and scientific. The scientific one looks relatively new, all things considered. At least compared to a lot of the more ancient stuff you've been laying your eyes on. This tower ranges from, like, absolutely archaic all the way up to, like, brand spanking new studies of magic. Which pretty much does reflect its history of passing down from owner to owner throughout what Volgan has been telling you seemingly thousands of years.
It's very like postmodern magic, where it's like it looks totally pointless.
Yeah,
That's not that.
Two circles that spit water at each other.
It's not 20. It's not the 2000s yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're good.
We're getting
remember,
there. We're getting there.
Remember, Dadaism only took place after World War II.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not at that area yet.
Yeah, it's not quite that type of magic yet. But he even continues, like I said, this tower has some strange history. Some of these books seem to be archived from places beyond. This place is sounding similar to our world, but in some ways different. There's places marked in here.
Read.
Some of these towns called Neverwinter. Various other planes, I suppose.
So like Texas, I feel like Texas is Neverwinter.
No, not really.
No, the Texas section is over there.
Oh yeah, no, that tracks. And it's like it's just like smoldering heap
With a cowboy hat.
Yeah, and he's like, no, that tracks. Yeah.
Supposedly, this place has been the places. This tower has been the places such as Eberron, whatever that is. Fucking, I'm struggling to come up with other names, so I'm sorry.
It's fine. You're good.
He's essentially describing what is very obviously to the players, other like just the multiverse of D&D.
Yeah.
Like this is a dimensional hopping tower.
And when you have an 18, it becomes a +4. And then you have a 20, it becomes a +5.
Simon, I'm sick of you talking to me like that. You keep throwing these numbers at me, and it's pissing me off.
I'm just telling you I'm better.
I don't understand what's happening.
The numbers, Simon, what do they mean?
Whoever built this place was quite the architect of their time. I wish I had some knowledge about how to send this thing to the places that it talks about, so I can kind of I can go to the other planes, no problem, but this thing's like crossing folds I don't even understand.
Were the gargoyles you?
Yeah, the gargoyles were me. I did that.
Fuck you, man. That hurt.
What?
They
They
hurt.
were defending this place.
Bro, we weren't attacking it.
Well, I mean, I didn't want just anybody coming in here. To be honest,
I
you guys
mean,
are kind of
no.
ruining my sanctuary here just from being
Believe
here.
me. Understand me. I understand and appreciate that sentiment. Still, fuck you, that hurt.
It's a little mean.
I'm allowed to be both. I'm allowed to be both appreciative and have the knowledge that you inadvertently punched me in the face.
I could send you to a volcano. Do you want to go to a volcano?
I don't
Well,
want to
yeah,
go to
do
a
that.
volcano. I'm just saying, Simon, what the fuck?
I want to see it work.
No,
What are the odds?
Simon, stop. Simon,
I know. I just mean because like we're already here.
right?
Do you want to go back down?
Well, I mean, I'll eventually.
Well, then why not?
No, you know what? I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go-
Eventually, you get to the main hall, which is kind of adorned with various suits of armor, of which you have a similar feeling towards other suits of armor that may or may not have punched you in the face once. You kind of get the same feel from those.
Simon, if you ever animate a suit of armor, I'm gonna throw hands.
I could probably do that.
Don't, please.
And eventually, you do come around on the front door, which has currently been bashed in by the remains of the biplane.
We
Orville and Wilbur are currently dusting themselves off, patching each other up, and have noticed you.
Oh, you're alive.
welcome. Hi.
No thanks to
yeah.
you.
What do you mean? We lessen the weight so that you can make a more secure landing.
I don't remember guaranteeing your safety.
I'm gonna be honest. As a group of people, we all put together probably weighed more than that thing. It was probably much safer that we all got off and tried to land as a group.
You were
They
all
just-
ready to die pushing
they-
it off the cliff, so I
I-
mean you're already at a net gain.
Yeah.
They just kind of, they look like they want to say something, but they just can't. They can't come up with anything. They can't.
They
What are they
can.
gonna say?
Yeah. They have no idea how to respond to that. Like they helped fix the plane. They agreed to go on it and fly it for you. It just didn't work out.
They agreed to be here.
Whether or not the
didn't
plane
trick
now
you.
is in ruins and currently bashed in the tower doors of an archmage is kind of irrelevant.
That from
at
the
this point.
church.
Yeah, honestly, if we're being honest, things just came back to a natural like stasis point. Things didn't get worse or better for you guys. Except
fucking
now
a metaphorical
you're not in handcuffs.
D20 roll on surviving 2 plane crashes.
You're not
So
in
far, they're 2
handcuffs
for 2.
currently. So that's better. Your situation has improved.
Uh,
Yeah, you won't be burned.
I
at the
guess.
stake.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
good.
That's the
Wilbur's
Clayton
just
Draze
like, yeah,
prop.
I guess. Or
You
they'll
will
just
be
kinda like-
marginally better after I leave.
They just start trying to fix up the plane when they turn around, and everybody kind of just lost focus on the plane. They notice that the plane is outside and the doors are back on their hinges. Yes, the tower does that. It has some self-preservation magics to it. Haven't been able to understand it myself, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you got time.
Intuition.
I haven't really been focusing on it. Figured it was just kind of neat.
It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Like one of my
Uh,
top 10 facets a moving tower can have.
So
It's on my checklist for real estate.
I don't have too many leads myself, but going back at the matter of hand, if the story is based in more truth, then we might be able to find the seeds in these lands. The only thing I really have to go on is it's probably buried deep. Based on the mining operations, it's probably just expanding. Whatever
Well-
magic was containing it, keeping it subdued, it seems to be failing. And now it's just growing out more.
Do we know where all the mines are?
Like some,
'Cause if
wouldn't
we
be
can
hard to
map
find
out-
that out.
We can map out like a mining route of these crystals versus incidents of people going missing or being attacked or whatever. We might be able to narrow down a field of search.
Yes. Something else that might also help our search is, like I said, these animated crystals are not something that's happening in Europe. A lot of these crystals end up getting exported out there and for use in magical artifacts. But I haven't been there recently, but some simple scrying has told me that there really isn't much of a problem there. The closer I go westward, though, the more animate, more gruesome these crystals seem to become.
The beetle.
The west
Shut
eventually
up.
wraps around to the east, though.
Yeah, but keep
I
this in mind.
suppose, but
the
if you go
beetle-
far enough one way, then you'll start noticing less activity. You know this is a globe, right?
What?
the beetle.
It's ridiculous.
He
We've
pulls
known
out a
this for a
special-
while, actually.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah,
Castor
actually,
doesn't. Yeah.
I swam across the Pacific Ocean.
The beetle. The beetle was inert when we were in Lexingdale, but like it started twitching when we were in Riverdale, which is farther west.
There might be one way to track it as well. I'd imagine
be
that
able
if we
to-
had the full mining operations mapped out and started testing the activity of crystals as we go more westward, we might be able to find out. We might be able to pinpoint a
Yeah.
location.
What
Like
if,
a
hear
like
me
a
out.
like a bloodhound. What's
What if underground, and I mean huge crystal monster, and we're just taking off chunks of it slowly through the mines,
I have not.
and it's this massive crystal thing.
Well,
Listen,
that would
I
not
have
account for the fact that there are different veins that you mine out and
It's
different
big.
things that aren't connected. They aren't connected though.
Well,
They might be. Who knows? It's hard to tell, honestly. It's
We're gonna
have you?
not until we get down there.
This isn't like
We're gonna
Gary's
have-
mod. You can't just no-clip through the map and then see where all the other tunnels are. It's you
who is
kinda-
Gary?
He's another Russian spell slinger. All right, we're adding to our quotas.
If only we had his spell of no-clip.
Thank
Anyway,
God, Russian interpretation at last.
So
But it's entirely possible that these connections have only been broken through years and years of fault lines and geographic shifts. Who knows?
I'm just gonna say we need to keep the beetle in the jar because it might animate spontaneously.
Well, some of these crystals like to congeal with each other, as well as they like to break apart. It's entirely possible that, yes, this is all one big part of one big thing.
Which would suck. Now, again, circling back, you say that consuming this crystal creature in its essence is a bad call.
Oh, I would say that is a very risky move. You're risking corrupting your soul, becoming more like whatever it is that you ate. Most of the time, I'd suppose if you're only consuming weak-willed individuals, you could overpower them, and you would just become the greater of a whole. But whatever this is, if there is indeed a bigger mass.
Poison? Where like you can make yourself immune if you eat enough of it.
Yeah, more like a parasite.
That's not good. All right, just casually throwing out some things in there that are completely.
I don't know why you have such a keen interest in consuming these things.
I'm not. I didn't say I
like know a guy or something that's tried that because I check up on them.
I have a cousin.
I check up on them, make sure he's okay. So soul magic has never been a good thing.
I've been keeping in touch with that cousin, and he is not okay.
Oof, I wish I could do something, but one problem at a time type of deal, yes?
I suppose, yeah.
Hello?
You're gonna barf out your soul, buddy.
Yeah,
nah.
Hope not. So, well, if you guys want to begin figuring out the mining operations, I suppose I could try throwing out some sensors and trying to find out where these things are the most active. It requires some investigation.
Good. The one that we remember there being the largest group that came from. It was the mine at Dunes Reach, right? Was what the Mosin brothers had gathered all that crystal from.
Yeah, that's where you had pieced together that they had, quote-unquote, robbed the operation in order to make more money in the most easiest way, but was really just mining themselves.
It's hardworking individuals.
Yeah.
The mine over by Dunes Reach is, at least from what we know, definitely one of the more active regions.
Well, in a time of little leads, it might be a good idea to check any we can find. Dunes Reach isn't too far from here, but I'd imagine that you would have some trouble getting back. He starts to think to himself for a second. I can send you there, it's getting you back that might be a little troublesome.
Maybe
just use the teleportation sigil.
Well, but we
can
don't
you cast that magic?
And I mean, you know.
I don't. Castor, don't speak as if you're a caster and can vouch for our magical prowess. It's kind of one of
name
those
sounds
things
like a spell cast, yes, but that does not mean you're smart.
I didn't
what
say.
He said.
All right, let's we could probably find our way back or just send a message out this way to get to you or something.
Yeah, do you have like a route you take? Do you double back?
Not really. I just kind of go where I avoid the towns for the most part, but
I'm sure we can find you.
I could meet up with you, honestly. If you have a meeting spot, I could meet up with you and bring you back to the tower.
I take out a map and I'm just like, oh, okay, hold on. I'm thinking what's a good place for. Where are you currently headed?
You know what? Here, come with me. He starts leading you down to that vaultish area, the one that was locked off with arcane sigils that seemingly were to ward it and make sure it was protected. As he starts to step through it, he's able to pass through no problem. He comes out after some time with a baggie of goodies, one of which happens to be a sending stone. I forgot I had this. Not really too many people I can give one to, and I actually want to talk to. I want it back, or I'm smashing this one. And he holds up the other end.
You got it. We will return this to you on completion of mission.
Alright. As well as that, if this thing is as big as it is, we might want if you're going to be my agents in the field, so to speak, I'm gonna want to make sure that you can actually come back, and you better.
Let's all learn Russian.
This stuff is expensive, and has been here for quite some time. He starts pulling out of his nice goodie sack several different items.
Pull it from your sack, sir.
He looks up to Lucius and goes, "You there? You look very frail. I think I have something for you."
Do the 80-year-old.
And then people call me abrupt.
He pulls out what seems to be like ornate thin chainmail or a chain shirt of some kind. It has very wavy designs that you would suspect is elven in nature. This is elven chain, very protective. Even those that have found themselves unable to wear such armors effectively have found themselves to be able to wear this new problem. And he hands this to you. It's very expensive. It's worth at least 15 of your lives, so don't lose it.
How do you put a value on a human life? Then?
It's basically 3 gold pieces, okay?
So Lucius, you gain Elven Chain, which is extremely good armor for somebody who doesn't have proficiency in medium armor. You there? You look like a bruiser type. He looks over to Simon. You don't have a sword. I don't know why somebody like you doesn't have a sword. I have a sword.
I have a +1 short sword.
Oh, did you already give it? I was like, worthless. Here, take this. He hands you a sword.
It's a +2 short sword.
No, it's like a long sword, but it has some pretty ornate features. Let me pull up the picture real fast. It seems to have like a copperish handle guard and blade, and like a red gem embedded in it. And he says, "Watch this." And
Sword of Gryffindor.
Oh yeah, but he says, "Watch this," and all of a sudden it bursts into flames.
Oh, I have the Voltron sword.
This is Flame Tongue. You seem to be magically adept at fire or something like that. I don't know. But you might find some use in this or something. I don't know. I'm not using it. Take it. Again, several lifetimes. Don't lose it. Very, very stupid idea to lose something like this.
Well, lucky for you, it's the intelligence.
You could make he like brings over the Clayton. Maybe you should be able to get up here much easier than climbing, or building a technological marvel every time you want to get up here. He produces from it a cloak. He puts it on and whispers a command word under his breath, and they turn into giant eagle wings. And kind of lifts himself in the air a little bit. He takes it off and hands it to you. These are wings of flying. They will grant you the ability of
As
flight,
opposed
like
to
a bird.
wings of swimming.
I mean, I could
Castor,
get those too.
fuck up.
I actually had something else for you. He kind of ruffles around in his bag and gets out a bluish rope, a bluish glowing rope, and whispers a command word. While Lucius is like trying to fiddle around with this chainmail, which by the way is so thin that you could actually wear it underneath your clothing and it wouldn't really impact you too much.
Dude, what if you chafe your nips though?
Yeah, no, it's elven design, dude. This stuff
wear a bra.
serenades your nips, dude.
It's elven design.
serenades your nips.
It's assumed that you're wearing pasties.
While he's trying to like fiddle around with it, he whispers a command word to the rope itself, and it goes to entangle Lucius. Ends up just getting tangled in the thing.
Well,
Ooh,
I mean,
I do like tying people up.
I thought you might like that. He whispers it again, and it comes back to him. Here.
I looked at you and I assumed you're a sick, sadistic bastard.
You're not wrong. Are you actually going to tell me what the command word is, or just going to?
Oh yeah, he
whisper it?
tells you the command word. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
What do you want what does Zaltu want the command word to be? I'll let you guys decide what the command word is.
Ooh.
I want to think about it. I want to think about a good one.
All right, yeah, you can
What if
get
it's
back
just
to me on that.
What if it's just like, whoa there?
I have
Stop.
I have an idea for my command word for my wings flying.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be let's ride.
Yeah.
Just wings.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, he's given you some magical artifacts of arcane power. Now, hopefully, you don't die with these and make the whole thing a wasted investment.
Let's be honest, I can't die when I look this far. It's physically impossible. I look too
I
amazing.
appreciate the
to die.
pun. Don't say it
I've
again. That
seen
will
you-
kill you.
I've seen you go down more times than I've counted.
And how many times have you seen me come back up?
Because of me.
I'm gonna be real,
And
dude.
I appreciate that.
You got real close that one time.
Dude, I got super close, but it's fine because we're good now.
All right. So you guys are trying to track down the Tomb of the Crystal Seed.
Right.
What do you guys want to start? What do you
I'll
guys wanna
show
start
you
doing?
my crystal seed.
Our first idea, like our first lead, is Dune's Reach.
All right. Then you
But
can-
would it behoove us in any way to read his books first before we go
Maybe.
out there?
You might be able to get something out of it. From
Right.
what you're able to gather, he seems to think that like only one of these books even pertains to it. He even finds it very strange that in this vast library there's only one tale of such a being.
Let's spend the night here in long rest since I know everybody's fucked up.
Question: is this a rope of entanglement? Is this an
Yes,
item? Or do I
I'm
have to
sorry, I totally forgot. Yeah, it's a rope of entanglement.
added? My keyword is shibari.
God
Oh my
Also,
god.
everyone outs themselves by knowing what that means. As everyone groans in size.
Yeah, you make sure you memorize the keywords so and do not make sure the person you're entangling doesn't know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just need to whisper it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why he whispered it. It's a
No,
good
you-
grace.
Yeah,
have to
when
yell
you
it.
didn't want me to know. Question.
Yell at top of your top
Well,
of
I
your
mean,
lungs.
Dude,
If
he's,
I had to yell it, I would definitely make it stop. You violated the law.
dude, he's like a 20th level wizard. He it's ingrained to just not tell anybody the magic words to his things unless he wants to depart.
The
with
magic
it.
word doesn't change right when he gives it to someone. That
Oh,
means
no,
that if
no,
he
no, I was
whispering
just saying
sorry
the-
to-
Yeah, so I was just saying the player could decide what it is.
You
He's
do.
an 80-year-old wizard. He was
I
not
don't
about
know.
to...
I don't know if your thing does this, but I know that mine has to be attuned.
The Wings of Flying? Yeah, you can just attune that. I handle attunement a little weird. You can only be attuned to 3 items at a time. But I don't like say you have to do a short rest to attune to something. You just can't be attuned to something else.
Good thing there's only 2 items in my inventory that require attunement, and one.
I
of
know
them is my
Simon. I know Simon is permanently attuned to 1 item, so there's that. That's pretty much one of the drawbacks of that specific curse is that you can't be attuned to 3 other
I thought you
useful
could be
items.
cursed by
You
any.
can be
number.
cursed by anything. It's just the attunement that takes.
Oh
up
yeah,
space.
but I'm just letting you know that that specific curse forces you to be attuned to it. You can't
For
not be
which-
attuned to the Book of Nazareth
Looking at
Oh,
this.
that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
It
Your-
doesn't-
your
it does
heart
not
beats
say
fast.
requires
until
the
somebody
change.
else has attuned. It's essentially somebody else has to attune to it for you to not be attuned to it anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember that.
Okay, let's read that book. I will help Simon pour over that tome. Let's take a long rest and then we can get spit back out of Dune's Reach.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make you roll for it. The information in it is very poetic in form. Whoever wrote it seemed to have some kind of flair, if not a little nonchalant flair. It's kind of weird to describe.
It's basically old English.
It's like somebody who's trying to
Where it
be
sounds really
somebody's trying to
fancy, but
put
it's
flair
not.
into it desperately and it's just not quite able to do it. Like they don't understand the intricacies of flair. Like they read a Shakespeare book, but or read a Shakespeare play, but wasn't able to understand what like any of it was about. But a lot of the tale, it seems it's very much written as if like it's a self-insert OC. But the name is complete. The name is completely omitted. There's no author written on the book. There's nothing like that. All of it, like it's completely just removed. It's more like a journal by somebody who decided they didn't want to remember their name anymore.
I know that feel.
Yes. But he does tell you that There are many books like that in this library. Whoever, I suspect, with its age, it was made by the original owner of the tower, the one who made it. A very interesting fellow. I don't really like him, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, we don't have to like everyone that we work with.
Yeah, everyone that does.
Everyone looks pointedly at each other.
Clayton likes all of you. He's not happy about some things Castor has said and done, but he doesn't hate him.
He hasn't committed mass murder yet.
Yeah, unlike other
as far as Clayton knows, places are still better than Castor leaves them.
So yeah, you're allowed to look through the book. A lot of it's just describing, like, very poetically, like, or at least trying to be, how the original indigenous people, when they like crossed the archipelago, I believe that's the right word. The land bridge. They crossed the land bridge before it was submerged in water again. One of the first gods that they worshipped was this thing, but then like a lot of what you understand about native culture is that this was not a god worshipped. So it must have been either like heavily censored or like just easily forgotten, and like the only thing left was a cautionary tale. And you can assume that like they'd want to forget about it, like it was a mistake and they don't want to repeat it.
Which is why they would not destroy all mention of it.
I don't know.
Well, it
could have just been lost to time too.
Most of those tales, as told through native culture. Hi, Native American here.
I know.
Most of those tales aren't specifically
probably...
like written down; they're verbal.
Yeah.
And so over time, if it becomes a taboo subject to talk about and it's not really brought up again, it can pretty easily fade out of the lexicon or the spoken.
And I do
want to
make I want to make one point. One, as a white guy, I'm sorry. If I'm doing like anything that's any remotely offensive on that front, I'm trying my best not to.
Yeah, honestly, you're doing pretty well.
I do want to point out that the verbal thing was something they came up with. It's very strange that that this tale that has almost been completely omitted from storytelling is just written in this book right here.
If you would find anything about it, it would be from somebody who heard tale of it, or you would see depictions in art. Oh
yeah, but this book is like written by somebody who apparently experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of stories.
So that's like that's something I want to point out that that really tips you off. That one, it was written down, and two, it was written down by somebody who owns this tower. You don't really. It's hard to tell exactly what that's about.
Generally, those stories are supposed to be told as though it's firsthand knowledge.
Right.
As well.
It is still like extremely weird that the book was written down and then it's now in this library that supposedly hasn't been to this country in quite some time.
Yeah, it's definitely a read that you find where you're like, this is weird.
Yeah, it makes very little sense. It is very much like
is weird, and it shouldn't be here.
Yeah. That's what you're able to kind of tell about the book. It's just generally surrounded by a sense of weirdness. The writer's very weird. The tale itself is kind of weird in the way it's being told, and the fact that it's like written like a self-insert MC, like just a guy that swooped in and saved the day type deal. It's also very weird. But yeah, that's unfortunately all you're really able to get from the book itself.
All right, and then I assume we will like have dinner, go to bed, and we can be spat out at Dune's Reach.
Unless he doesn't have extra beds and we're just leaving.
I have a bed.
You guys are able to get a long rest. Get a long rest in, yeah.
We just leveled up, so it doesn't matter.
The Wright brothers have been welcomed into the tower.
What? Why?
Being with you guys, kind of, and not being a threat generally.
I mean,
you get Vulgans
a
little bit
more property damage in 24 hours than most people at that time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Volgan seems to not be pleased that they're here, but they're kind of with you, or at least that's what they're saying. Yeah. And
that's what Clayton is also saying, because he doesn't want to have fully dicked these guys over.
They also do not have.
We still prevented them from being hanged. I don't think we can say we dicked them over.
They do not like the idea of being sent to Dunes Reach with you. So for the time being, at least until proper transportation can get around, they're gonna wait in the tower, kind of just tinkering with the plane that somehow fixed itself to its broken state that it was when it got here. It's like it was like reformed magically, but it was reformed to like that shitty state that you guys retrofitted it to be.
And they can leave their plans for building a plane in this scientific tower of discovery.
I'm pretty sure Volgan already has it now. Like he just took it from them.
All right, you gave me the ability to create flying machines. I guess you can sleep here and not die.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I can kind of just go wherever I want anyway, but it's kind of interesting, you know, like a little bit of a puzzle that you have with breakfast. In the next, so you guys sleep the day away. You have some conjured food in some conjured beds in a room that was, when you entered it at first, was empty, but then had beds in it. It's almost like the tower detects what the user desires and then like creates furniture for it in a way. It's very fucking convenient and useful. I wish I had one of these. That would be nice.
Said about every magic item.
That's pretty much it. And the next day comes around, and you guys have decided you're going to Dunes Reach first.
Sure.
All right. Then Volgan brings you to the teleportation circle. It's not really. He even kind of says it on the way there. It's like, I don't really need to. I just kind of like the flair of it. I don't get to send people through it very often. Do you guys mind?
No, we understand.
Okay,
oh, yeah.
cool.
No, hey. Mikasa, Sukasa kind of situation when in Rome.
Wait a second. Sukasa. What can I say?
Really hoping he doesn't speak Spanish.
So you guys all get on the teleportation circle
in Russian.
And are ready to get beamed down, Scotty. I think it's usually been beamed up, but anyway. Well, when you find out whatever it is that you're going there to find out, let me know. Just so we're not crossing toes, what am I investigating?
Well, you're investigating the...
Aren't you like a magical wizard archmage? You really want us to tell you what you're supposed to be investigating?
I think because we're doing the field operation to look into this.
Listen, I could actually just teleport you in the volcano. I do not care. Like, you can burn for all I care.
Because we're only checking out this one specific mining operation, it wouldn't hurt for him to also be, like, looking into details about other things. We could leave the beetle with him and see if he can...
I would suggest leaving the beetle here and see if he can, like, you have a giant moving tower. You can cover a lot of ground very quickly. If the location will revive the beetle, you can try and find a central flux point.
All right, I'll start bringing the beetle around and seeing where it animates the most. I'll calculate my findings when you get back. When you want to come back, just send me a message via the sending stone. It's not one of those fancy ones that continues like a raid, not like that thing that doesn't exist yet.
Like an extremely long-range unwired telegram, I'm aware.
Yeah. So, one message and I'm here to pick you up. Have fun, I guess. And then you're even if it's like mid-sentence, you're unceremoniously sent to Dunes Reach. You appear in the middle of the town, where the sheriff has noticed you just appear around, and he like comes up to you. It's like,
hello there.
I'm gonna hold my hand up. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, the word itself. I suppose you all saw us head out with the devilish creation to destroy it.
We thought. I'm still in the wrong accent.
Yeah.
We thought you were dead.
I fear, in fact, that we were. Momentarily, in our efforts to destroy that confound contraption, there was a blaze of hellfire and glory, but it is with my own eyes that I saw the Lord come down to us and tell us that our work here was not done, our work to protect Dunes Reach itself was not yet done. We were all brought here and revived in order to assist and continue our good work.
I want a deception check.
All right.
Mute.
Hold on real fast.
Oh man. This is always a fucking treat. Hello?
Hello?
We lost them. They're dead. They clammed up.
14.
14.
Now you've been like fucking running the same lie for a while now. There's a point of narrative. There's a story here, right? So the DC wasn't super hard. It's not really going against the logic they now know to be fact. So they put you right down in the middle of town. Talk about
the
convenient.
Lord works in mysterious ways.
I wish he could just do that to the devils.
Well,
you like just kind of looks down. I suppose we're supposed.
Yeah,
I suppose we're just supposed to do it ourselves.
Yeah, well,
It's hard knock life. It's hard knock life.
You know in the scriptures, God does not present you with the immediate answers to your problems. He creates an opportunity for you to overcome the devils of this world in your own imagining. We should be onward. We already have our own understanding of where we should be heading, as it so were. We have word of yet another devil that may be at work in this town.
Another one. Those two weren't enough.
Wait, in this town?
That's what he said.
Okay. I thought we were heading to the mine. Well,
you guys
I mean, are the mines close to town or what?
The mine's pretty close. Like the town is in the canyon, and the entrance to the actual mine is not too far away from town itself.
Yeah, I thought it was further than that.
It's not like within viewing distance, but you could take like a carriage ride 30 minutes and be over there, or 30 minutes to an hour.
So it's within the boundaries of a modern city, which is not a city from 1843.
Yeah.
Clayton is being somewhat metaphorical, and he's like, "Well, it's a threat posed to this town. The mining operations beforehand. It seems as though something within them is posing a threat moving forward. We're just supposed to investigate, is all. We don't fully know what's going to be down there, but we're unsure of how safe it can be for the lives of your people as well."
Oh, all right. Suppose you can talk to the prospectors and the foreman and see exactly how you can get in there.
Yeah, we'll have to make haste, most definitely. All right. Come on, everyone. Let's go on our holy mission.
Skedaddle.
Oh yeah, your horses are here too, by the way.
Yep. Simon puts his flaming sword on his back.
Yeah, the sword can you can blaze
God
the sword.
gave it to me.
Yeah, you can like I think as an action and turn it to holy fire, but it can just be like a regular action. Long. Yeah, it's a bonus action. So you can turn that on and off as you see fit.
Yeah. It was funny to be like, we are holy men that God has resurrected as I pick up my fire sword and
your flaming sword.
All my powers come from an archdevil, essentially. Let's just go.
Yeah, the only one even closely getting near heaven is going to be Castor, and he's going to be kicked down too.
Excuse me, I'm going to be reincarnated.
Oh man, Castor, something you've noticed.
Is that bird still there?
The bird was following you. For a fact it's not in the sky now. You teleported here.
Fair.
But you couldn't help but feel like you were being watched all throughout the night. So you have reason to believe that you were
sleeping during the day.
Sleeping during the night. Yeah, you slept the night away. It was the next day.
You said we slept the day away.
Did I slept till the next day. It's the next day. It's the day after the plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You just lied to me, Jack.
All right. I'm sorry I lied to you.
Disgusting.
It's the next day. You know what? Just for that, it's the day after that. Boom. God powers.
What?
It's actually the weekend. No. So you guys are heading over to the mines?
Let's go, baby. I'm
You
ready
go
to
there in
kill some
style. You got
mines.
your cart.
Oh yeah, I want to make sure we're gonna bring the Gatlin. I want to make sure we have the Gatlin. I want to use those 58 bullets on something.
Wedding dress shopping today. Well, sort of the dress she's wearing to my sister's wedding. So she keeps
twice.
She keeps like coming in and showing it off, but we're like, okay.
Okay.
But so yeah, to the mine we can take our cart because god damn it, it's our cart.
You got your horses here. They were fed throughout the night because they weren't sure if you guys were coming back. But they knew they were the horses of the holy men. At the very least, that they were going to take care of them gosh darn horses for the Lord. So they did.
Yeah.
So you actually do have that in the card. So it's said like nobody took anything out of it. It was kind of a bad omen to steal from holy men. So I mean,
It
why
certainly
would they?
is.
Yeah.
Never mind all the stuff we took from the. But, we are gonna head over there and I assume meet up with the prospectors and/or foremen.
All right. So you head out to the mine.
Okay,
Like
before we get like as we're walking around,
yeah.
or like as we're walking to wherever the actual mine is, what exactly is are we gonna still use the holy man tactic to get into the mine? I don't feel like that
I'm
would
not
work.
100% sure these people are holy enough for that to hold any weight there. We could always go the good
It kind
run.
of depends. Like that mine, like the miners for that mine live in this town.
Consider this. Another option that we have, if this isn't working, is that we are federal inspectors. The mines are generally covered by government and that kind of stuff. We just come up.
Do you know what a federal inspector looks and speaks like?
I don't believe
because
I've
they
dealt much.
certainly would, being minors.
Correct, but Castor, what you're not taking for account of is the right amount of confidence.
Yes, I forgot. Stupidity.
Think about this. Look at how far confidence has got me.
I kind of look around at our current situation, like, yes, this is truly the pinnacle of human life.
I mean, it feels like it. I'm having a blast. I don't know about all you.
Americans.
But we could always go federal inspector route. Class field trip. Class field trip works as well. We could sneak in while they're not paying attention. I can literally go invisible.
Okay, here's my proposition to sneak in. We need the distraction, right? So we find. Wait for it.
Oh God, is it gonna be dynamite?
We find their dynamite.
Yep, I knew it was gonna be their dynamite. It's always their dynamite.
Check out these socks.
They're great socks. We're playing the game.
Yeah, but I got socks.
Sit down. We're having a meeting about tactics and strategy.
And I got
we
socks.
Use the socks to destroy the dynamite.
No. All right, we're not.
You could use the dynamite to destroy the dynamite.
And an explosion at a federal place is going to call down the type of lawmen that we haven't had to shoot yet.
They're not they don't have fucking police cars.
No, but
what
they're
are
gonna
those?
hear about it.
Yes. Yeah.
They're gonna hear about it.
They're gonna hear about it, and we'll be. How long do you expect to stay here?
I don't expect to stay here that long, but also my face is very recognizable, and if they come in showing up little wanted posters.
Wait, are you Clayton Draze?
Yeah, no, but shut the fuck up for like 2 seconds as we think about this realistically.
Realistically, we're not gonna be here for more than a day. The mine is not
gonna
like
be in this
that.
country, and the federal government doesn't stop at this mine.
Are we glossing over the fact that Castor didn't know his name? Lucius, you heard that, right? That's not a big thing.
Lucius?
No, I knew his name. I didn't know it was him. Anyway.
You didn't know it was the same
No,
Clayton? This Clayton or this Draze?
Lucius.
The entire point is that it's a distraction, right? They shouldn't know it's us who did it. If you really want to go that far, we can just tell as God has partaken us of this information. The people that work in the mines are from the town. We can just say, yes, you see, that was why we had to go there. It would have gotten worse.
Lucius, I've got a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I have access to an ability that I think I picked up that can make a lot of people believe a lot of things. If you've got something similar, we might be able to double up. One of us creates One of us creates this. It seems as though some devilish nonsense has happened, and the other one creates like we're some kind of holy men sent down to do something about it, and then we just force everyone to kind of believe it. You know, hell or high water. You can negate a lot of things, but generally not your own eyes.
What? Don't we still have the stone of mass suggestion?
You do.
The
We're
orb.
not
the
using
orb.
that.
The orb, and I cannot
Why
use that.
not?
Because it's such a prototype, it might explode. in
Yeah,
my
it might
unused
explode
hand.
as soon as he touches it.
You know what the original thing is like? The original identify on it is that it's got some good charges in it before it will just like probably do something. So you still got uses in it. Like you can use it, no problems, no questions asked. You just only have limited amount before finally you're gonna have like maybe it'll explode, maybe it'll just fizzle and not work. Who
It's
knows?
like having those one things in fucking video games where you get them and you're like, this is super important.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we never use it.
I say we
I was
use it when
so
we think it's
worried
going
that
to
giving you
harm
guys
people.
I was so worried that giving you guys a spell you could only get at 11th level wizards. Like I thought like it was gonna be a huge problem. No, you guys haven't used it.
Well, because we generally talk our way out of shit.
Yeah.
I say we use it, and if ever it seems like it's going to explode, it basically just becomes a hand grenade.
What if we use it as a secondary option? If we can talk our way into this, we don't have to use it, then that might be good. But if we come out with the mass suggestion orb and it doesn't work, because remember, everybody gets a chance to save against mass suggestion.
That's true. That's
But
true.
if the DM about to roll all of those saves.
and I don't know if mass
Generally, I'll probably
counts
just
for
make one roll.
already.
Let me look at it.
All right. But yeah, my plan is to be flashy or showy as a secondary action to being very sly and cunning. Because we could always just make them believe stuff. Like that's not actually that hard.
We could also just kill them.
Right, but that's harder to recover from. If we do it this way, we have witnesses that are on our side.
True. Well, what exactly are we planning on doing other than walking around?
That's exactly. My only plan is just to walk around, so we should be allowed to do that. Theoretically.
Assuming no one knows your face.
And no one here really does. Or they would have called me out day one.
Probably, yes. Especially at around the time of that whole holy man thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so we just tell them that we're tourists.
We could tell them that we're here from the town and we've got a weird feeling about this mine and we're just really here to look around.
That implies a sense of danger. I think it would be best if we don't tell them that that we might perhaps engage in combat in the mine.
Yeah. It's also going to be really funny if they're like, yeah, there's just a few holy men like looking around the town and they're just
So looking at
I say we are gold prospectors and we would like to get soil samples.
Well, this mine is for crystals, so we'd have to be
Well, yeah, exactly. But we get soil samples so that we can get a lay of what kind of rocks are in the area, so that we know if we should be heading further east or west, north or south in order to find somewhere where there should be gold.
Only down into the mines though, because nothing on the surface is going to be as well.
Yeah, exactly. You need to get a lay of what the layers of rocks are and which direction they're heading.
So we can try that. That's not a bad call.
Looking at mass suggestion as a spell, when you cast it at 7th level, the duration is 10 days, and you can choose up to 12 creatures.
But does your Orb of Mass Suggestion cast it at 6th or 7th level?
Yeah, only cast it at 6th.
Okay, so cast it at 6th.
So that only lasts 24 hours.
At its base level.
All right.
But still, that's 12 people. if we need it, that I can force to make a save.
All right. So keep the orb with you, as I'm sure you have, and we will.
Checks his bag. Oh my god, where's the orb?
It's got a lead-lined bowling bag. It's fine.
When was the last time I checked it? Oh man.
So we can head down into the thing that way. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
What was that?
So I might not have said anything in like an hour and a half. I may or may not have dozed off.
I was really concerned with how quiet you were. I was starting to be like, that's why I started being like, right, Lucius? And then fading.
But who knows? But my question is this: why do we even need them around? Like, why not just tell them that there's potential danger?
I would think, yeah, I don't think we need them around, and that it'd probably be safer without them around. But I worry that if we tell them there's a problem and then they send like a telegram to the federal people, that could be an issue.
I mean, who would ever think of the idea unless you thought of it first, giving potentially somebody else a thought to do so?
This is true. Over that being said, I thought of,
if we just continue with the current lie, that way, even if they, I don't know, a couple days from now, or whatever, if some people go back to their homes and then spread word of what we're doing there's not this mixing up of stories. I like one single story.
The one story works. We don't have to lie.
So if we just continue with the current lie, and we say, hey, there might be some stuff in your guys' area. Can we please check it out? By the way, it might be safest to just vacate your men from the caves. Also, you got a map? That'd be really helpful.
I feel like one of these things may be outing us a little too much.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think we're fine.
About that.
I don't know. Like, cause I'm sure they must have heard something from us by now.
Yeah, you said that the prospectors.
Oh yeah,
it has been
some of the people that work at that mine were in the town when you got there originally.
Okay. Yes, we don't want to cross those wires.
So if we just continue going with what we're doing, and if need be, if someone's like stingy or doesn't believe us, we can do a little,
a little major image.
Yeah. Ooh.
They do all have guns.
No, not that actually.
No. But if we just let them know, I mean, not know what's going on, but if we let them know, hey, there's a potential threat there, and we want to take care of it for them, and then that just leaves us free to explore.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is that what you guys want to do?
That's my opinion.
This is all a conversation that's happening while you're riding on over there, by the way. So as soon as you're done with this, figure out what you're gonna do. You're gonna be there.
All right. So we pull up.
So the entire place is on fire. It burnt down to the ground. No.
There's some bandits.
You start traveling the valley, and through bushes and sand, you eventually find your way at the rock outcropping that leads to the entrance of the mines. Outside, there's some small shacks for storing mining equipment and various other things. Some rails and whatnot set up to easily bring the crystal out and stuff in. And there's generally the general work you would see happening. People are moving stuff in and out of the cave. Generally the miners are already inside mining, and you can kind of make out what appears to be more like an enclosed office, maybe building. The closest thing to what probably a foreman would be inside if he was there.
The love shack, if you will.
Yeah, the love shack. What?
Clayton,
What? Nothing.
Clayton is gonna stop, get out of the cart, kind of adjust his hat, look to Lucius and the rest of the group, and he's like, all right, follow our lead. We are holy men sent from God. We're here to fix the problem. We've got a weird feeling about this mine. We've been pushing a holy direction this way, and everything should go swimmingly. If you aren't confident in your ability to lie, don't talk.
Amen.
I'm an excellent liar, I have you know.
know you're lying about that, so I disagree.
I will be kept quiet.
Clayton is going to approach and begin like mumbling like some prayers. I assume his time in Riverdale, he's picked up on like things like the father does.
The father is not as holy as one might expect somebody of a church to be.
No, I'm aware.
As he himself holds up a church that is in its own right half burnt down in its own right. I just said that twice. That's fine.
I understand, but this is what Clayton has access to mentally.
So you're like taking a swig of you probably assume that drinking on the job is not what priests tend to do usually.
Unless it's communion.
Yeah.
He's gonna begin like murmuring some prayers and just the closest approximation of what he can remember.
Yeah.
And he's going to like knock on the foreman's door.
You're mumbling broken Latin. Oddly enough, it sounds infernal.
Yeah, he's trying not to. He's living into it.
And you're trying to. And some people have kind of noticed the 4 strangers that have just kind of walked up, looking very diverse in their attire, and have just kind of been eyeing you up. Some of them like don't care enough. Some people are just mining, and some of them actually do recognize you for who you are, and they say, "It's the Holy Man. The Holy Man is here."
I have come on yet another mission.
Him and his apostles are the ones that took care of the demons that ruined the church in town.
Oh, please, Lucius here. Lucius here is my partner in our Holy Man adventures. These two are our apostles.
I am not religious.
Right, Simon Satyr.
We're working on that guy.
The atheist apostle.
You always need to have someone to balance you out. So
it's true.
How will you ever know you have faith if it is not tested every day? And boy, does this lad test me. We need to speak with your foreman. We've been pushed in a direction by our holy Lord and Savior to assume that this operation here may hold some unnecessary dangers. Nope. It appears that the world has fallen silent amidst my prayer.
So somebody had decided to come in here and be like, hey, you need to do something. It's like, I'm busy. It's like, well, have you worked 40 hours this week? It's like, I'm sorry that you did.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I pay for your house and your electricity.
No, it's my brother.
Oh, well.
My brother used that. My brother's the type of person to use that argument.
All right.
So, God, what was my train of thought? I lost it.
We were saying that we are the holy men and we are here because we have been pushed in a direction to believe that the next leg of our mission is involving this mine and some unnecessary dangers that may occur.
This mine is and some of the miners are looking a little bit concerned now. It's like, is there like, he like kind of whispers on his breath, is the Satan here?
Satan.
And, Clayton holds up his hand and kind of closes his eyes, and he's like, I was given a dream of a far-off land of where I believe that there were a group of bandits that seemed to have stolen from this mine.
It was the Satan 27.
I was given visions in a dream, a terrible fit of watching this crystal animate itself and attack and destroy. I do believe that within these magic crystals may lie some powerful if not the Satan, one of his underlings.
The crystals are...
If not the Satan, perhaps the Lucifer.
Okay. The crystals we mine are satanic.
I don't know if they are. I don't believe them to inherently be. I think the devil may be trying to sink his claws into them. We wish to perform a purification ritual, an exorcism of sorts over these valuable materials because...
The Satan himself is trying to turn our prosperous nation against us, trying to take our rights to these crystals against our great nation. And then he kind of like gets a preacher style, kind of like what you're trying to go for, against all of them. And they're some of them are like shaking their heads, and like some of them are like holding their axes in their hands, like, and it's just like, will we stand for this, folks? It's like, you hear a resounding no. It's like, will we go in there and stop the devil from getting our crystals from us, from our great nation? And they're all just like, no, or yes, something along those lines. Some of them aren't paying attention.
Yes, we will let them.
It's safer if you allow us to perform our purification rituals alone. If we can be given some sort of map or a way to navigate them ourselves, I would absolutely hate to see a single soul in this land fall victim.
Give me a deception check. And I'm going to tell you that the failure for this is not what you think it is.
Okay.
But go ahead and give me a deception check.
Another 14.
These guys are oddly, they're just like, we've let you go in there alone against Satan himself. No, we admire your powers and your divine right, but we are not going to just let you go in our minds by yourself and possibly get killed be ruined by Satan himself. We're going in with you. And everybody else is just kind of like shaking their head. They're like, yeah.
I understand. I assume that we can cover more ground that way. I thank you all for your humble sacrifice, to the Lord, as where you lead into the valley of the shadows of death. And he's like looking to other people, like, somebody fucking save me. But like nobody.
They're just like
recite a sermon in my native
Yeah,
tongue.
they're just they're kind of just like, while you're trailing on with that, it's like, yeah, anything that God would ask of us, we would blindly follow.
Simon will step up and in complete Russian, acting like he doesn't know a single lick of English, he will clasp the man's shoulder and praise him in Russian, and then like kind of put his arm around him and like kind of show him to Clayton, and then just look at Clayton like, yes. Just to be like, we need to keep going.
All right. I trust all y'all's assessments of...
What did that man just say to me? I don't know. Is he European?
I can't tell.
Of course. God sends us all to love all one another and our neighbors equally. So, and it's really about trying. God gives credit for trying.
He crosses himself.
Yeah, see, he's got it. All right, let's head down
Immediately
into the
burst
mine.
into flames.
If I would ask though that you stay a fair bit back, other than those who are here to guide us, just in case something breaks out and ensues. And he looks over and he like takes someone's pickaxe and like looks it over. And he's just like, that these weapons,
the weapon of the Lord.
Well, he's just like, know that these weapons will not do much against the tides of the devil.
They may not do some in the hands of somebody inexperienced, but we've been mining all our lives. We know exactly how to do this.
I've won several wars with this pickaxe alone.
He hands it back and he looks at the group like with the look in his eyes of like, they might fucking die. Like, we are on our mission and we must begin the purification ritual as soon as possible. But first we must assess it.
We should probably go tell the foreman about this, actually. He's down in the mines right now. We should go tell everybody else in the mines as well.
Let's get down there. Let's go. Take me to the foreman. Take me to your leader.
We're taking him to the foreman. They all cheer. And you all go deep into the mines.
God, it's so uncomfortably easy to become a cult leader.
You're a warlock, obviously. That's just natural.
Oh my god. In Dunes Reach, there's just going to be a Clayton cult, basically, and I'm going to be able to finally perform religious services.
Listen, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's going to be a time where somebody notices the wanted poster and is going to question everything. But until it's like, this will bite you in the ass one day, that's for damn sure.
From the devil.
Yeah, the devil made that wanted poster.
The government is leading you astray.
Fiendish tricks to stop us.
Can't believe you would question.
Look at that. That is not my nose.
Yeah, they did not get my nose right.
Believe the lies of parchment.
The written word. There's only one written word that means anything to us. And that's the
And
devil.
it has a capital G.
Is this ink stuck into your face?
Oh my God.
Out into the mines.
So you're going into the
Before I-
mines. Now, up closer to the surface, there's not too many in the ways of crystals, but you're led down through like some rope elevators, led down deeper and deeper still, until you eventually do get to a point where operations have continued apace. Large crystals find themselves embedded in the walls, some mere veins, while others just outright jutting out. Various miners are picking away, shaking chunks off as they mine their days away. Off in the
Can I
distance,
ritual cast detect magic?
while you're going down, it will take a second, but yeah, sure. Especially if you go off the I'm saying my mantras, and they'll absolutely let you do it.
In full Russian, just mumble.
Well, and that actually helps you because we can just tell you that means religious stuff in Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah, being religious.
But
You're
yeah,
just saying
so
Hail Satan in Russian over and over.
you got some detect magic going on as you're walking through these caves, and yes, everything's blaring up like a fucking nuclear reactor. Because there's a lot of big chunks of crystals here. They seem to be not animate, but they all do have the same vague magical presence as something that is absorbed in the natural weave. Off into the mines proper, you notice that there is in fact a man yelling at other men. The typical sign of a
Classic.
foreman. Yeah. Management, am I right?
Manager, by the way.
Yeah. They are over there telling everybody what to do and how to do it, and telling them they're doing it wrong. He seems to be a pretty rough, gruff man, fairly big in stature. Do you approach?
But yeah, Clayton will approach in the process of him screaming, and he would just be like, "Hail and well met, young child of God and existence of."
He might
The
be
Lord.
older than you.
He might, yeah. He's
He's
got the
still a child
graying
of God.
beard. He looks at it like, oh, hey, who are you?
Uh-huh.
You new?
I'm technically, in a way, aren't we all? I'm a holy man here from the town of Dunes Reach.
God damn it! I told them to keep the church out of here.
Well, unfortunately, sir, wherever you don't let God's light in, the devil's shadows can creep.
I'm sorry.
We've been dealing with.
You will be forgiven.
Yeah, all will be forgiven sometime. What's important is that you're asking for forgiveness. We've, as upon coming down into Dunes Reach, we discovered a severe infestation of devilish and infernal nature here to attack the fine lives of these people, and I've been granted visions from our Lord of a similar threat that is accruing and coming from these mines that I just wish no more than to see purified and allowed to continue its prosperous nature for God and America itself.
I like how you added America too.
I don't know whether this dude is more religious or more patriotic. We're gonna go for both.
The guy that led you in here also speaks up and he's like, he's come here to purge the devil's influence in the mines. Satan himself is clawing at our rightful right.
The Satan.
The Satan. The Satan. See that man? That's why he's an apostle. The other guy
Castor's
just kind of like
trying to be
looks.
sarcastic and it's backfiring.
Yeah. He's looking at you four. He's looking at all the guys that have stopped working. Like, he just like kind of bridges his nose. It's just like, listen, I get it. You got a speech you gotta give out. You got a quota or something. I guess we all got quotas, but I got work to do. All right. All of you have work to do.
As do we. Our work just seems to go hand in hand on this day. I don't wish to impede your progress in your development. I don't even ask that you all stop your mining operations, just that we be allowed to continue with our own exorcism rituals. And I look over to Simon, who probably looks like the fucking LSD just kicked in at a rave, and he's like, there is no doubt in my mind that we are detecting an extreme presence here on this day.
That's a lot of evil.
Kind of like crosses his arms and like nods lightly, like
yeah. It's like even when you like close your eyes, just like through the eyelids, you still see the glow.
It's like Christmas, dude.
Well, first of all, you come down here without even the proper safety protocol. I don't see a hard hat on any of you.
You'd be surprised with this. You'd be surprised.
They got like they were like made with leather, you know. Yeah, like and it's something to protect your head.
I have a cloak. I'm also very fast.
You'd be surprised what's in this head and just how dense my skull is.
He says in Russian, you'd be surprised how much this head has taken.
Is your friend European?
He is. You know, God loves all his children equally.
Right. Listen, what do I have to do to get you the hell out of here as soon as possible?
Not interfere with our movements around here that will not seek to interfere with yours.
He thinks for a bit. He looks very disgruntled and inconvenienced in the most possible way. Fine, you can look around, but if you get yourself caught and killed, that's your problem. If you injure or interfere with the mining operations at all, you're out of here immediately. And if you aren't, I'll make sure that you don't come out at all. You understand me?
Crystal clear.
Take your middle cloth speech and shove it somewhere else down the cave. He's like mutters off to himself. You get back to work. The other miners that are about to follow you are just like are stopped. Like, and you get back up to the surface. Get some more mine carts down here, or else your ass is on the line. You understand me? But sir, God, it's like
I'm sure God would hate to see you all lose the ability to care for yourselves and your families for a mission that he has not immediately taxed you with. I assure you, we will call on you if you are needed.
They look disappointed, like they aren't able to live up to what they're supposed to be. And I'll just kind of like walk off.
Just don't want to see you all be hurt in the process. All right, they're gone. Let's go. Great, let's go.
You're currently in a mine. You have noticed that the foreman has decided he doesn't want to help you at all.
Mm-hmm. I need his help. I was given him a map.
What exactly are you looking for?
All right, now we get down to the nitty gritty. I would like to look at the explored crystal veins and see if we can find any sort of like hint of animation or futzes with happenings, how deep the mine goes. Just I'm just trying to learn everything I can about these crystals and whether or not we can do some tests on them without having to immediately, steal.
I want to find a vein that's not immediately being hacked away at, and attempt to peer into it as I did before.
All right. For Clayton and anybody else looking around, investigation checks. For Castor, this is a weird one. What skill do you think would be most appropriate for peering into something?
Perhaps?
Insight would actually be really good, yeah.
Cool, because I have +7 there. For whatever reason.
Going to
I think monks are fairly insight. Jesus.
9 investigations, terrible.
Yep, you can use a Jack Dollar. Did I give you one for the recap? I don't think I gave you one for the recap.
Did not.
Well, here you go. Take one. That's for the recap. Castor, you peer within the crystal's very surface. You see that inky blackness that seems to tendril through it. Some time of looking, most people wouldn't know what to look for, but you've seen it before. A presence, in a way. And you, after a while of nothing, you eventually do feel it. As you stare deeper and deeper still, you feel like something's staring back. And this one doesn't have bird eyes.
So I want to I want to kind of like trace along the vein as far as I can and see if it's like if it becomes clearer in certain spots.
Like in what way? What are you trying to
So you're saying
determine
that, like,
this?
I just want to determine if there are like parts of the vein or parts of different types of crystal, like purities of crystal, affect how easy it is to peer into it.
The mass inside, from what you understand and kind of what you're seeing, is generally what is the magic that's drawn from it. It's almost like that's the blood and the crystal itself is the body. You know, in a weird metaphor. So there are some spots where it's not as thick. Something you have noticed is that by just looking through the crystal and through the parts that are a bit more clear, you do notice that like this tendrily darkness, now that's connected to like a greater whole that is like in the mind proper, that it does kind of seem like it trails off to like other pieces that are currently encased in rock, as if it's all connected.
Does it seem like if I go to various veins and kind of repeat the same process, does it seem like there might be a central point to it?
If there
like
is, there's not an easy
within this cave.
Within this cave? Within the cave itself. It's kind of hard to tell because, like I said, a lot of it's encased in rock. It's really just like through the mass and like through the more clearer parts are you able to notice like other crystals deeper still. As far as thickness goes, you can kind of get some help with some investigation. If anybody else is looking into that, you are able to kind of tell that yes, there's like a general thickness to it in some spots that would probably indicate that there may be a connection to a main sort.
Okay.
Kind
Can
of deal.
I roll my Arcana?
Yes, you can.
Sick. That's a 20.
Say, Simon, you who know a lot about fire magic.
Yeah.
Is there an inherent magical element of darkness?
Considering I have Shadow Blade, yeah.
Necrotic, right? Or psychic?
It's like necrotic.
It's
You don't
technically
necessarily get the
psychic,
feeling that that's what this is.
Yeah.
This
This feels more abyssal. I'm not gonna lie.
It's less in a weird way.
Cthulhu-esque in the tendrily way that you described it.
I wouldn't say it's abyssal, but in a weird way, like maybe an aesthetic, but in a weird way, it's actually more pure. Like when I said it's like generally magic in Dungeons and Dragons, like there's the source of all magic, raw magic, and then which most people cannot access. Then there's the weave, which is kind of like mortals' interface to magic, what mages access. This is almost like pulling raw magic from the weave and refocusing it. So this stuff, in a way, is raw magic.
So it's more that like, so raw magic is something that's drawn from the weave naturally, and this is some kind of anti-magic that's drawn from the weave in a different way.
It's like my brain to look at it with detect magic on. It's just,
this is like it lights up like a Christmas
it's still
tree.
normal
It's like,
magic.
like while you're looking at it, it gets like the rainbow spectrum of colors just flashing in your eyes at different intervals. It's not processed like what you would see with a mage working with. It's like you can kind of think of it like the weave is kind of like a cloth, right? The raw magic seeps through that cloth. This thing has decided to grab it back up and kind of refine it back into what raw magic is. Whatever it is, it can do that, and that's not something that is something anybody can do.
Simon is distressed because he tried identify on the beetle and he tried detect magic on this abyssal thing, and now he doesn't know anything about either, and he's like, why do I even have these?
Well, you can try your Arcana. That's a 20.
I did try the Arcana.
Yeah, that's kind of what, and I was about to describe that. Well, like looking at it with your detect magic, and you're kind of like following the tendrils, and you're kind of getting the idea that this is absolutely like raw magic. This is like the thing that the weave is just barely able to like give access to mortals. and it's in such a refined state. Like this stuff specifically seems rather much better than a lot of the other stuff that you've seen. So like other crystals aren't of like a similar purity. You would think, based on like the insight and the arcana and a little bit of the investigation, that this might be pretty close to a source of some kind. Like an appendage or a branch, if you will.
To a greater crystal monster under the ground?
Hopefully not. Maybe.
Conveniently. Hold on a second, Simon?
Yeah.
The way do you hold magic within you? Is that how wizards work? Do you hold magic within you and then unleash it, or do you simply like weave the magic around you into a certain form?
Technically, the way wizard is classified is someone who draws the magic from other planes. So I do not create the fire, but I pull the fire from
the elemental
fire
plane.
planes and
Can you
transfer it here.
He is channeling it through himself.
Make a small fire for me. A small constant fire.
I could make a very large fire.
Maybe not a large fire. We are in a mine after all, but a small fire.
I mean, I could Melf's minute meteor and give you 6 tiny fires.
Do they stay around? I need time to look at them.
Until I blow them up.
Yeah, they do. They just kind of
stay around them. Yes, you can do that, please. By all means.
He's going to look at you and be like, "This is a 3rd level spell slot."
Do you have any level less spell slots?
This is why I bring this up. Well, he said tiny fire.
What about your sword?
Actually, wait a second. Your bird is magical, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Light the bird on fire.
Molotov? Please, come.
Ironically.
Molotov, come over here. And I want to...
Master, this one speaks for you.
No. He's like, do it,
that was so genuine. I want to just stare into its eyes and try and do the same thing I was doing with the crystals and see if I can see into any of this, like this pure magical essence that is diluted through the magical
Molotov.
You're like trying to.
On my guy.
No.
I think it's. All right, you know what? I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. You look into this thing's eyes, and your natural just insight. You can tell that this thing has an intelligence about it, a ferocity, a fire, as it were.
I think it should be a Constitution saving throw, as they're both making a staring contest go down.
Actually, that'd be a Constitution check.
Probably better.
Yeah. So both Molotov and Castor, give me a Constitution check.
Constitution. Can I just click on Constitution? I can't.
Should I be rolling high or low?
10.
You want to roll high, yeah. You want to beat us, yeah.
Great, the -1.
Still beat me.
Castor, you blink first. Molotov says, "Yes, I am the winner, and for that I claim the spoils."
Simon gives.
But more to the point.
This one's soul is mine. When he dies, I'll bring him down to hell myself.
I think he keeps talking about reincarnation, actually. I don't know if you can
So I don't believe in hell, so you can't do that.
Well, I mean, technically, the Buddhists like goal is to break the reincarnation, so...
I think he's Taoist, actually. I think it's a different denomination or religion type situation.
I like how you're telling Castor's religion to him.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, that's exactly what I believe. You're right.
He's just talking to Simon like they're having a discussion about people who aren't in the room. He's just like, I don't know. It's just
and me, Branyan, I'm pretty sure that it's Buddhist. Because I think
it's not really
Castor is actually operating under a different type of world viewpoint.
Are there any?
That's fine.
In my investigation check, do I find any crystals that haven't been picked up yet?
They're in the walls.
I'd like to use Mage Hand.
To try and pry it out with 10 pounds of force?
No, not to pry it out. I'm going to use Mage Hand. I'm going to stand back a little bit.
If you use a crowbar, you can double that. 20 pounds of force.
I'm going to see if I can push.
Can you use a
hand,
crowbar
like,
with mage hand?
into it?
You want to push the
Technically,
mage
yes.
hand into it? Or
You
like,
gotta
Yeah,
meld it.
I'm gonna see if I can like go.
are you like trying
inside.
to? Are you trying to like put magic into this?
Yes, but like only a cantrip, and like that's why I wanted one that was like on its own.
Quick fireball!
Actually, are there any
Else minute meteor.
are there any minors that I recognize as being like part of my little mini cult?
There are some that are like giving you looks like, just when you need help, just ask. Like that type of
yeah.
look.
Is there a very small crystal that you could part ways with for a slight moment to allow me to?
He looks over at the foreman, notice he's not being watched, chunks at the wall and breaks a piece off. Here, take it, quick.
Whoops. Yep, I take it and I'm gonna go around a corner basically. I'm just gonna set it up like away from people, and then I'm gonna walk away like to my maximum range of mage hand, which is 30 feet, and I'm just
Right.
gonna try to do it like that.
You're just gonna like, you see, like you're on a track to point. You're on a point to somewhere. I'm just not sure if a cantrip would be enough.
Congratulations, you've invented a shrapnel.
So yeah, I'm trying that first is my thing.
You're trying it. You notice
Before we do that, can I get a specification on whether or not I could sense the magical essence in Molotov as I was peering into him?
With insight, maybe not, but you're a monk. You are attuned with the energies of the world and yourself, and thus, usually the energies of other people is something that you can influence, their own key. So you're looking into it. You definitely notice a lot of rage.
Classic. Same, honestly.
I suppose you would get like some type of inkling of magic. I suppose. What type of connection are you trying to make here? It's very important that I know that.
I'm essentially trying to figure out whether or not what I'm sensing in the crystal is magic, because I shouldn't be able to sense magic.
It's what's here. You can kind of tell that they're similar in a way, but yes, Molotov is more like processed magic.
He's like, this is like craft singles versus like homemade cheese.
This is more like homemade cheese compared to the milk that hasn't been processed yet.
Yeah, you're looking at the cow.
Yeah, somehow they made the cow back into milk.
Yeah,
Molotov is a pizza. That gem is a cow.
But that's pretty much, that's kind of the connection you can make there. It's a little weird, but we're going with this is kind of like a conceptual type deal. It's kind of hard to put specifics on it.
This is up to you.
But it's definitely similar, but obviously different.
I just wanted to validate whether what I was sensing in the crystal with the abyss was actually like arcane in nature, which it sounds like it is.
Definitely arcane, but like to the stuff of world creation type stuff, like the things that everything is made of.
Right. Ether.
Right.
So this is
essentially, it's pretty much what raw magic is.
This is up to you on the ruling of this. Is there a way that I could like expend a spell slot, but instead of casting a spell, just try to kind of
divert that energy?
Yeah, just kind of.
Yeah,
try
absolutely. You had brought that up last session as something you wanted to do, or like either the session before that. I'm sorry, when you before you left to go find the tower. That was definitely something you could try if you want to. You can try to feed a spell slot into it.
All right, I'm gonna do that.
You feed a spell slot into it, and here's something. You've done the opposite with something similar, where you've taken this into yourself, and now you're putting yourself into it. And something you've noticed is that while you drain the magic from yourself that has been granted to you from an infernal being into it, it in itself, much to the same way that you felt like some of it now kind of feels some of you. And it grows in size. That's a 3rd level spell slot, right?
That is, yeah.
It considerable, like it was maybe a baseball. Now it's more like a volleyball. But in a sense, you actually kind of feel a bit of kinship with it now.
This is your son. Give it a name.
My son. That's my boy. He just is looking over this thing. He's just like, that means that these things are nothing more than vessels. They're not much different than I am.
Sure.
I mean, in a sense, I'm just a vessel for Slinger's energies.
God.
You're an extension to somebody else. Much in a similar way. And actually, when you make that connection in your mind, it clicks. Like this thing is a connection to something else in its own right.
It's a warlock.
This thing was like, honestly, it's not that. Memes aside, it's not that far from the truth. This thing was part of a greater whole. It was chipped from the wall.
Galaxy
and it has became something of its own. And by feeding it itself, you've actually given it its own will in a way, and you feel that because it's part of your will.
All right.
But because of this kinship, you almost feel it. Now that you, who is some of them, and them that is some of you, you kind of almost feel this connection on a spiritual level, on a magical level. And because of that, you feel like you are merely touching a fragment of flesh. Like you scraped your knee and some of the blood is on the ground. That is what you're holding. You're holding the blood on the ground. A mere skin cell.
Yeah.
You touch it.
And just as a clarification, all my powers are basically infernal. So this thing is now we're not wrong. Now we're not wrong. A part of hell has creeped into the stone.
But I'm curious to see whether or not Clayton tries to stop me as I immediately try and touch the.
I'm not gonna stop
you touch it. You put your hand on it, and your hand is now touching the volleyball-sized crystal.
I knew it.
We're gonna take this with us.
Yeah.
Wait a second. We can make
way.
big crystals that easily?
That
you
easily.
can feed magic. That's the thing. That's the thing, that these crystals
you know how much
magic.
money you can make. Wait, that's not good.
Yeah, no, like, here's the thing. These crystals store magic. By feeding magic into them, they become a vessel for it and can be used as such. Like I had said before, that like they could be used as spell slots.
Actually, parasites, which is probably not the best.
They're not a parasite. The energy put in them is parasitic.
I'd say that these things are more parasites in their, like, now that you feel it, like these things feed off the natural energies around them. And in fact, making the connections to the story that you had heard, how people had sacrificed themselves to this, to something similar, you would start to understand, like start making these connections almost on like an instinctual level now that you are it and it is you in a very small fraction.
Is that why Castor is having such a odd reaction to it, because it's a similar energy to Key? How it's the connection between light and matter?
It's kind of almost to a point he feels a pull, as if like as somebody who is more attuned with Key, somebody that has cultivated their Key, strengthened it, gained it in mass, has become something of a snack.
Did someone say cult?
But Castor, you almost feel like your own energies are pulled to this, as like it in itself is pulling energy from around it in short increments, in small increments, but you feel it.
So I want to pull back.
I wonder if I could.
Do you know how?
I mean, because then in theory,
is it possible to learn this power?
I mean, from Clayton's a warlock.
At least over small chunks, I could exert my power over these things.
You could grant yourself, like, these things have a natural shape-shifting ability, especially when they have their own sentience, their own will. When they're but fragments split off from the greater body, they themselves grow. It's like white blood cells in a body fighting off. Kind of, yeah. You could like stem cell research, just like kind of reconfigure it with your own mortality, with your own physiology.
That does sound like a plan.
Make it a puppy.
All in due time.
Make it a little crystal puppy.
It like turns into a small Clayton that goes yeehaw.
Yeah, a little tiny one.
Now stop
like a
right
wind-up
there.
toy.
Yeah. Tell him I sent you.
I
Okay.
made my deal. No,
So I'm gonna keep this because, of course.
It's rad.
Yeah.
It's also the size of a volleyball. Can we hide that?
Yeah, sure.
I just have the bowling ball and the volleyball, and it's like, don't worry about me.
It's like, honestly, now that you guys know what to look for and kind of know what you're looking at, it eerily dawns on you that this thing is vast, and it is one, and the mere breaking of its pieces only like split its consciousness. If like
I want to go see the prospector.
The prospector. He's currently which the cult-ish following ones, or like just the guy, the foreman.
Well, is there a prospector as opposed to miners? Like people who decide where to mine next.
I suppose, yeah. There are probably some of those running around.
Like the actual real prospector.
God damn it.
That's the ones I want to find.
Well, because prospectors wouldn't be here because the mine has already been found.
Yeah.
Well, a prospector would still be needed to know where to dig towards other veins.
I guess like which ones are probably safer to go to and mine out. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, like miners would have some knowledge of this, but like saying, "Oh, you know, this vein will extend over that way in this direction," probably is a prospector's job usually.
Yeah. So you can talk to him. And you can, after some searching around, you're basically trying to get the eyes of some of the guys that are more willing to point you into a direction. And you are able to find a guy that's currently just slacking off, because it is not currently his job to do anything at the current moment.
Perfect. You are the prospector then.
Yep, that's me.
Are you magically inclined?
Can't say that I am. Why? What do you need, stranger?
I'm simply curious how it is that you determine where a crystal mine can be found.
Well, to be honest, it's not that hard. These things go like these veins splinter out all across the region. You can find just about them anywhere down below. They're honestly, it's almost kind of strange how they all connect to each other in a small sort of way. Yeah, there's like one mine that's like pretty far down. We mine a couple miles down, and we end up connecting to another mine in another city over. And honestly, it's just I think it's pure chance.
When you decide to establish a new mine, you simply draw your carts out in the middle of nowhere and dig down.
Well, there are opening outcrops that we take a look at. That's what my job usually is, to go out and go find more veins. Truth be told, it just happens to be one of the easier ones. Just don't tell the foreman.
Of course. Would you happen to have a map of these outcroppings?
Give me a
or
sec.
Current mines.
He's kind of looking through some funnels and whatnot. There are a few. Keep in mind, different companies talk to different companies, but we got some connections. Here, he pulls out a tube that is meant for holding a map, and he pulls one out and lets you look at it.
I open the tube, I pull it out, kind of spread it out on the table.
What do you understand, if these things are indeed all connected to like one bigger host, one big thing, if these are all part of each other, looking at the map and how it's dotted across the US, it's massive. Is
there any like from this map of mines? Is there any kind of recognizable pattern in them, or like a higher concentration at certain points? Like if it's really like a map of the whole U.S., is there a place in the U.S. where there are significantly more of them, and then as it branches out, there's less? Is there like a pattern that can be followed, as constellation?
There's like almost something, because you kind of know what you're looking at here. There's almost a radius about it, right? Because like it's only in this area that these crystals are really found, on the western side of the U.S. And as you kind of look at it, some of these mines, there's like a fixed location. Like you see some mines out there, you would suspect that you could easily find more veins like between certain mines if they are connected like this. And maybe if one would to go looking for like a heart of the matter, there might just be in the center of all these mines, like a single one.
I definitely want to mark that location down mentally or literally or
I mean,
figuratively.
you guys
or
also
whatever.
have your own
If you
map.
wanna,
Yeah.
It
you
sounds
can mark
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. Map boy, come here. I don't know who.
Don't call me that. And he hands you a map.
Sounds like
Oh,
someone guessed the plot.
You mark what you can consider to be kind of like what would be like the center. If you had to gamble, you had to take a choice on where the center of all these mines would be. You kind of point to one place that has a mine fairly close to it, that may have the connection you're looking for. It's a place called Heartsteader Mine, and he kind of the prospector kind of takes a note that you're looking at that one specifically. Oh, Heartsteader, they've been pulling out some pretty good stock lately, actually. They're
Lately.
kind of. I mean, they've been able to find some pretty good veins. If you kind of noticed, the real chunk of this, the real useful of all these crystals, is less the crystal itself, and more the black inky stuff inside. At least that's what the mages tell us. The more concentrated, the better. Heartsteader actually found, like recently, the past year or so, I found a cave entrance around there. Has some pretty good ink to it.
Some pretty good inky.
Yeah, like
got that good. That sticky icky. They
sticky icky right there. Like honestly, yeah, that's like just the lingo. Is like ink. Like for miners, like if it has a good amount of ink to it, it's gonna make you a lot of money.
Oh, interesting. How do are mages involved in the prospecting process?
Kinda. Some of them come by every once in a while, but it's you generally get the idea that it's a beneath them type job. Like we got the dirty job, and they just want the stuff.
They just do the extraction. Governments. Well, in any case, this is good information. We want to make sure that whatever devilish spirits that may reside in this mine, if they do reside, do not escape through the veins, if, as you say, they're all connected. You need to
I mean, definitely feels
them.
like
So
that.
thank you for this information.
Whatever you say, Father.
If
Daddy.
Yeah, no, it's like he's very much he's very much going for like you a priest, I guess. But like Castor doesn't necessarily know that that's what like priests are called.
I am a priest.
Yeah, kind of. But like you don't know like father of the Christian cloth, like you don't know that that's necessarily what they're called. So you're just like you just hear this guy call you a dad.
I don't know if that's entirely true, because every time I've had to grab Castor from the burned down church, he always immediately addresses the priest as father.
Oh, you know what? That might be he might have gotten a good
I'm sure it was
corrupt world
researched at least at a vague level, like the theology of the location I was living in.
Because Clayton, though he may have made deals with the devil, is still very respectful of other people's religions. He's just like oh, father, my apologies.
You're currently impersonating a Catholic priest.
Actively religious person in our campaign.
Hey,
I mean, you gotta be pretty religious to believe in the other side, like Clayton does.
And he believes. All right. I would like to perform a ritual. I don't have the ability to ritual cast, but what I will do is in full view of my cult of personality, and even the foreman, if he's around, I am going to cast protection from evil and good on a random vein of mine.
It's like you don't like. Here's the thing: is like you just cast it as a spell, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to make a show of it. You can't just like wave your hands with and say your small little.
I'm drawing with chalk. I'm basically putting up all the airs of casting a ritual before I'm basically just gonna touch the thing and do the spell.
Yeah, so it's this huge show for something that's like it needs to be theatrical. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Does Lucius want to help me out with major image? Make it seem really impressive and cool. That sounds like a yes. Gerald, you up, bud?
Woo!
Are you winning, son?
I beat you to it.
He just took a fat line before that one.
Yeah. I
He
don't
just
know.
picked me up.
I don't know about a fat line. That was a very scrawny. That was a woo.
That was a pinky nail
Yeah,
fall.
yeah. That was just a taste.
But you're setting up, and some people are taking a look. People have stopped working because of this. And the foreman takes notice of that, and just like, no. I told you, you do your fucking rituals or anything. You distract the workers. You're out.
I did not ask them to stop. I need only.
But they are stopped because of it. Now you all getting the fuck back to work right now.
All right. I can perform a very brief form of the ritual if it would behoove you and help productivity, and then
hurry the hell up and get out of here.
I'll just cast protection from evil good and slap the fucking stone and see what happens from that. Because I don't know what it'll do.
God, it's not. It's a very muted reaction. It definitely happens, but this isn't like good or evil. This is just is, right?
I know, but yeah, I didn't think it was evil or good, but it also protects against elementals.
This is not an elemental, my good sir.
Okay, well, it's aberration, celestials, elementals.
This is absolutely
undead. I figured I'd throw it out there so that
I would say, just to kind of throw you a bone, like aberration is as close as it's gonna get. But even then, like this is not like something that marks to the will of what a lone warlock cares for. This thing doesn't care.
He
but
removes
you definitely get that, especially with your connection with Rocky in your backpack.
That's you fucking read my mind on what his name is going to be, but continue.
This thing doesn't care. Like this thing, it might be affected if it was something of weaker stature, but this thing is greater than that. It is larger, it is bigger, it is better.
He'll remember the name, bitch.
But that's generally like, it's not a word, but a feeling you get, like a shrug. Like
and then
sure.
As I'm leaving, I will just say, I've done what I can to prevent the spread of the devilish infernal natures, the taint within these walls. I believe I found the source and that I'm protected against it, but do please take care. And all that you do, make sure that the crystals are, I would say, even smaller than government regulations for the time being. Just with safety and care towards all around this town.
Right. And some of the more cult following you are just like, yeah, and then they're quickly shut down. It's like, no, back to work, get out.
And take pride in what you all have done today. We've done good work here. Use it to spur up your productivity.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
See, like, dragging him back as he's doing his last minute.
Yeah.
Let's go, Father.
All right.
You guys get out. You guys get out of the mine. You're led up through the rope elevator, and you are back in stark sunlight. What's your next action?
I turn to Simon. I'm like, once we get in the cart, let's confer with our higher power.
All right. The higher power being the Archmage of the tower.
I mean, that's another option too, but I don't want my cult to see us using normal random magic items. I want them to only see us using things that I have deemed as holy.
All right.
So we'll get in the cart, and then you can.
Right. You guys take off. Steeds in hands. You have done well for these people, and the ones on the surface, they see you going off and they cheer for you. The holy man has graced this place. The mysterious stranger has brought clemency, holy light to this dark land that's touched by the Satan.
Mwah.
And there's a big like celebratory hurrah as you leave. As the foreman is down below in the mines, so you can't stop this one.
Yeah.
And you take off over the hills, and now you are finally free from these parasites. God damn these guys, Jesus! They latch on to anything, don't they?
Clayton respects them. Clayton's like, I mean, they have an ideal they believe in, and you know, whatever works. When you're out here,
ideal happens to be me. So
yeah, when you're all out here on your lonesome, you need something to believe in, and If God helps them, then who's he to smite me down and increasing their faith?
All right. So, were you guys gonna phone Mr.
Yeah.
Archmage?
I believe Simon was going to do that in Russian. Yep.
All right. You set up the message spell in the stone. You send it his way. He responds, beaming you up now. And while you're wondering, right now, and then all of a sudden, the cart, the horses, you, everything inside of it is suddenly inside the mage's tower on the magic circle.
Big ass magic circle, Jesus.
It's a fairly sizable one, yeah.
To be fair, he's a very grandiose wizard, of course.
He's a very grandiose wizard that does stuff pretty nonchalant, like just instant.
Very grandiose wizard who's currently how old? Like.
He looks like a decrepit. He looks way older. He looks like 103. Right now. I beamed you up as soon as I could.
Quick, everyone blink.
You blink and he's now in his 40s. Oh, that's so much better. Yes.
All right.
Please keep eyes on me. This is a pain. This is why I don't like visitors. They keep changing my age.
If you weren't observed, what age do you normally become?
That's whichever one I was. It's hard to tell. It's like a paradox.
Right. You know what? We're reaching philosophical questions. I've got sort of a present, not directly for you, because I do believe that this thing is technically my son. But I'm
sorry.
Gonna pull out Rocky.
You pull out Rocky.
He's a real father now.
He looks at it. And he's like, "You have done an incredibly stupid thing. Here, I'll take it."
Hold on. I've put my energies into this thing.
Yes, I know this. I realized that. I see you inside of it. That is not how that should be.
Well, what it comes
I can
down
show you something else that I'm inside of that I shouldn't be.
It seems like there's a will that you can exert over these things.
Whose will?
I have no idea. But it seems like they're, from a magical standpoint, almost conquerable in that aspect and moldable.
I did say that if you could overpower its will, you could gain its power. I suppose the opposite going on the other side is also true. Overpowering the will of one of them.
If that crystal with your soul in it, it gets too close to the really big crystal with the really big souls in it, you're gonna have a bad time.
I feel like we're gonna have a bad time if we get really close to this thing anyway. I'm not gonna lie about that.
You would imagine it would be kind of like a virus, right? So a body interacting with such a thing might decide purging with excellence post haste would be like its reaction, like
Think
antibodies.
about this. Could we not create poison?
You wanna poison this thing with your own soul?
Poisonous magic.
I'm not saying that I have to use my soul in particular.
How about we use a certain other soul that we happen to have lying around, Clayton?
Well, I don't have any souls at my disposal right now. I have to take them. I mean, and he looks up at Vulcan Draze. He's just like, I mean,
no, I get it. You're a warlock. I understood. I saw the infernal powers in your gun. It's
I wanted to double check that we were all kosher on the same page before.
No, listen.
Anyway,
there's plenty of warlocks around this. You should see the section on blood magic. It's really strange. I swear to God, it's almost
fetish. All the warlocks you find. There's a specific patron I'm looking for. We can talk later.
The patron comes in all shapes and sizes. This is not unlike a patron, I suppose. You have become the patron for this rock. In a way.
That's impressive. Look at me, I'm learning already, he says to his gun. But he's just like, alright, so...
you just get like the feeling of worry from it, like, is this really the way we should be doing things?
I'm just suggesting the possibility that if we poison this thing hard enough, and it forces itself to expel all energies, then we're dealing with, instead of a huge network of problems, we're dealing with a localized area. However, I don't know how
massive we know this thing is. That would take a lot of poison.
I don't know. I also
like think
don't know
think about
how-
it this way: when you feed magic into it, it grows larger. How big it is, you would have to feed enough magic in order to overpower its will to double its size, maybe more.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I was like, I also don't know how this purges magic, and if it does that in like an explosion.
But I'm not gonna say like a small infection can grow pretty out of hand. A viral infection on a human body can, like, they're small. It's like a small percentage.
We're gonna
but
give
it's
it
doing
gangrene.
enough. Yeah,
be
essentially,
able to
give it
hurt
the
them.
clap, and you might give yourself an opening to do something else. In a like a weakened state. And Vulcan's like just kind of like thinking on this. It's like, well, I suppose we could give it some kind of like, by overpowering its will, it could be distracted enough, like somebody with the common cold, that we could do something about it. But if this seed, as we know it to be, is grown so big that its tendril roots are all throughout the West, then this is one massive problem. Whatever prison was containing it has obviously failed.
I was gonna bring that up, yeah. But also, we have good news. We might have triangular.
Before that, because I want to get this out of the way out of curiosity. Those stories from the natives, that story from the native, who we think might be native, he might be someone else because he's running shit down.
Based on the idea of like based on the book. He came to them, and then he left all the same. And he's the author of that book.
Right. So it's like a second.
Do you have any idea when that might have been published / written? Because probably they weren't publishing it then. Do we have like carbon dating yet?
This place has restorative magics, as you've probably noticed. I believe that was not only to keep the tower operational after all this time, but also to maintain the library, as the original owner wanted it to be categorized or cataloged. It's kind of hard to tell exact dates, but I would, based on the section it was found in and different keepings from the past owners that have also kept track of like who's read the book and where it's been. It's entirely possible that it was written around the time that the story was told.
Which is when-ish? In year terms?
A couple thousand years ago.
God damn.
Thousands of years ago? Hard to tell.
So, if I had to guess, this thing has been bucking against its prison walls for a bit and has finally managed to break loose. Well, I'd say finally.
How big
and has also been sucking up the magical energy of everything, everywhere in this entire continent for the past 1,000 years.
Yeah, I did think that was kind of odd when I first got here. I noticed that the weave itself was dimmed in a way. Not enough so that I couldn't cast anything, but somebody sensitive could definitely tell that this place was lacking.
It was whacking, bro.
If we can find enough of these pieces, I can make a strong enough infection to really freak with this guy.
So what you're telling me is you want to find individual pieces, you want to infect them by using your own influence and will over them, and then inject it in a way through, I'm assuming it's metaphysical fusion where like its transformative properties into its being.
What if I told you I already know of one place where there's a lot of smaller size crystals?
Well, I know of the reserves, but where are you thinking of?
Remember in Riverdale when I said to take all of these random like animals that became inanimate and keep them in a storage unit?
Oh my god, you have access to a bunch of small crystals that you can influence.
So before the stream started, I was joking that because warlocks can get animate dead as an ability, that was eventually gonna just have a horde. But I think in a much more uncomfortable situation, I'm gonna have a very targeted.
It's still gonna take some time, but like because you get magic at a much faster rate than most wizards, you could theoretically do that. You could like spend a week just making mini you/them hybrids, making this infection that you plan to infest this thing with. And speaking of such things, as Volgan kind of looks at you, and there's kind of like this movie-esque, like, where are we going to get such crystals? You just give him that sly smile, and you all, like, he's teleported you all to Riverdale in front of the guarded keep where all these crystals are, and that is where we're going to end the session. He just kind of like says, "You are a crazy man. Do you know that?"
Every goddamn day.
And that's how we're gonna bring it to an end there. Our adventurers have found a reliable source of where this heart may be, where this prison may have kept it originally. They've come in with a game plan to subdue it in some small fashion, and they have currently decided to spend the next couple weeks just infusing their very beings, their will, into a bunch of smaller crystals.
I feel like mainly Clay. I don't know how down the rest of our casters are, but
I have a distinct feeling that this isn't going to work as well as we'd like.
It's gonna do something. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's worthless, but it's gonna do something, and I'm all for it. But with that being said, the weeks are filled with just a lot of magical siphoning. And man, is it a show.
yeah.
I want you guys to know, I did not know what was going to happen this session. It was not this. It was definitely, this was not like at all what I thought was going to happen.
You come to me and you say, I don't have an idea for how this session is going to go. And I wager with, that's okay. If you had one, I would have broken it.
That's fair. That's how it usually happens.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say thanks everybody in the stream for watching. I'm glad you guys could all show up. I know this production is not as cool, as flashy, as awesome as 8 to 9 professional voice actors with a set and everything, but I'd like to think we have fun here.
What?
And I hope that you guys have too.
At home, that
I like that it implies that I'm not a professional voice actor.
Oh shit!
How
Have you
dare
just been
assume that there are not 8 or 9 of me?
How fucking bold.
But I'm hoping that I like to think that we have fun here, and I'm hoping that everybody watching at home there is also having a great time watching. I know that like 2 weeks ago I said tune in next week, and then we didn't tune in next week, and I didn't say anything about it. But hopefully next week we actually are just gonna tune in. So with that being the case, I bid you all adieu.
Bye.
Yeah, see ya. Fuck off.
Adieu.
Adieu. I don't know. I'm not. Adieu.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I don't know how down every other caster in the group is with making these.
We only have one cast.
I should mute the stream now. Goodbye.
Yeah. I'm gonna discuss things.